Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of everybody's favorite Rated M podcast. Yes, it is Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom, back in the room and ready to go. Big day, a lot of GOW talk going on. Yes, God of War and Gears of War. We're going to get right down to it, but let's first introduce our panel and our esteemed guests who are glad to be with us tonight. I wasn't quite sure he was going to make it because he left social media for a few days, but anyway, he is back and in the building. But let's start adding these guys to the stream, and then we'll introduce them in order. So let's start out with Mr. Derp Practice. Yes, Derp Practice. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me again. You know, I know it was against your better judgment, but you're a fine person.
I try.
Keep trying. God damn it.
I will.
Yeah.
Yes, and fresh off a 24-hour marathon in support of Extra Life.
25.
25, yes, 25. Yes, let's not discredit him the extra hour. The man stayed up through it all. Raising nearly $1,000, well, almost 900, I think. But anyway, Paul, you have the details on that. But anyway, welcome. Glad you could be here, and that was pretty awesome. Glad it was a pretty successful stream for you.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. This is the third year in a row I've done that. So yeah, and this is my best year as far as raising money goes, and I'm hoping to get better every year. And Salty, it's nice to see that Elon Musk got rid of that restraining order he'd thrown on you. So,
Changed your name just in time, did you?
Wize Old Gamer is in the building. What's going on, Mr. Wog? Glad you could be here with us tonight.
Yeah, I was out with my girlfriend this afternoon, and she gave me a GOW gonorrhea.
Girlfriend?
Yeah, gonorrhea.
gonorrhea.
Yeah, so I got my own GOW going on tonight.
Oh, my lord. So if he disappears from the stream, you may have an idea what's going on.
Gonorrhea of the whore.
Alrighty, and bringing him back in for a great episode, God of War. Nobody is more excited for this game, I'm sure, than the man I'm about to introduce, Mr. Salty is gaming. Told him a few weeks back when this game was ready to pop, I wanted to have him on here because it's nice to get, PlayStation people into the room to talk about games that we're really excited about. And I'm super excited about it as well, but we're going to get right down to it. How are you, Salty is gaming? Welcome back.
Boy, let's go. It's time. I can't believe it, man. It's good to be here. I'm super hyped. I can't remember the last time I was this hyped for a piece of media, because looking back, like video games, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I've been hyped for releases, but this is up there, man. I didn't get a chance to play the original God of War at launch. So this is going to be an experience, man. I probably won't get any sleep, but I have energy drinks on tap and stuff, so we might have to take it back to like when I was a lot younger and try to. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on.
Pace yourself, brother.
Okay, if I can do 25 hours, Salty, you can do. Come on.
Okay, but Salty, exactly. I do have a personal problem I wanted to ask you. Actually,
he's not a doctor, dude. Okay, he's not a doctor.
He's like, I've been having itching.
I'm like you. Okay, I don't care about anybody else on this fucking panel, whether it's next gen or not, Cerebral. But I'm pretty excited for this game. I mean, I'm so excited. My nipples are so hard they're lactating. So what do I do?
Oh shit.
You better get that checked.
Welcome to the show, Salty. You're gonna have to put up with this shit all night.
You gotta milk them. That's the only answer. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Lactating.
Yeah. I tried sucking them, but my tongue didn't go down that long.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
You have to work on that one.
Alrighty.
Now I'm picturing Wog like Peter Griffin in Family Guy, trying to suck his own tit.
Yeah, we're gonna come back, like I said, get everybody's take on this. Where your excitement level is, that sort of thing. Did you play the originals? Did you play the 2018 game that went on to win a Game of the Year? This one is shaping up that it's certainly in the conversation, and it may very well take it. But let's give a shout out to the amazing chat so far, because we got an incredible crew here already. Rectangle was early in the building tonight. What's going on, Rec? Spider-Man 356 always swinging by for a great time. Good to see Spider-Man. Draven Arrow in the building as well. We got Phasma. Good to see you, Phasma.
There's a girl.
Wize, that's right. Yes, contain your excitement, Wize. There's a woman in the building.
How you doing?
Zip that shit up bitch.
John 907 hanging out with us. Toolman 55 is here as well. Good to see you, Toolman. Our good friend of the show, Mr. Doggy Dog 420 is in the building. What's happening, Doggy Dog? Good to see you, my friend. Who else we got going on here? We've got T-Rock in the building. Good to see T-Rock in the building. Right on. And I think we just about caught up with it. Tony Grasso is here as well. Good to see Tony Grasso. And I think we're caught up with everybody. And we do have a first super chat of the night. And who wants to do the honors? It comes in courtesy of Doggy Dog.
Well, I can do it if you want.
It's Gaming After Dark time. Well, I can't do the woo thing. I can't do that with my voice. There you go.
Darth Praxis can always do the woo.
Yep, I can't do the woos. It's just my throat doesn't do that anymore.
I can do
Yeah.
How would you do a woo in Nintendo language?
Yeah. Usually, if you heard a woo in Nintendo language, it meant your console was locked up. Okay. Woo! Damn it, it sounds stuck again.
All right. Yeah, so here we are. It's kind of a cool day because, the acronym is GOW, Gears of War, God of War. For years, some people got them mixed up. Most people, fans of each franchise or both franchises, certainly know the difference between the two. And there are many completely different games. But one thing they both share in common is they're both flagship titles for their respective consoles. And they're also graphically impressive, to say the least. I will start with our guest tonight, Mr. Salty's Game. So, Salty, you just mentioned at the top of the show that you were a little late to the party when it came to God of War. Mm-hmm. But here you are. Several years after you played it, I remember vividly how impressed you were. And I think it was probably one of the games that seemed like it really opened your eyes, I guess, to the breadth of great games that the PlayStation was offering. You were really excited about it. I know you played the living shit out of it. You beat the Valkyries. You went through it. So just tell us about that experience, where it sits in your ranking, and what do you expect from the sequel? I mean, obviously, it looks amazing. Although you got, a certain crowd of fanboys will obviously come and discredit it. But, with saying that, and just before we get your full answers, there's games called Tomb Raider out there, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider reboot, that basically are three amazing games that never differentiated itself a ton from each one, but you still went on to score well and were received well, and I didn't see a lot of criticism. So, when you want a game to be successful, you don't often stray too far from the formula. But anyway, I don't want to get off track because there's a whole different side of topics here that we can get into. But just tell us about your experience with God of War and how excited you are for Ragnarok. We're several hours away from the midnight release, I guess. And I'm guessing most people have it on digital, so they'll be able to play it. I have a physical copy pre-ordered. I have to go pick it up in the morning. So boo on Noof Nukem for being an old crusty fucker. But yeah. Anyway, Salty, take it away. There was a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's gonna. I was like, gather around. It's about to take a while.
Sit back with the marshmallows.
Oh, good. In that case, I will be listening on my headset, but I do need to go in the other room for a minute, so don't ask me any questions. I won't be able to answer for a couple minutes.
Salty,
what's different from normal?
I have a unique perspective when it comes to God of War, because like you were saying, completely, on the Xbox side, did not have a PlayStation, had Nintendo, then Xbox, and then I knew who Kratos was, right? But I never played the games. I think I played them at my cousin's once, maybe the first one.
Yeah, you just recently went back and started the older trilogy games, right?
Yeah. So the way it went down is 2019, I believe, I started playing all the games because I got a PlayStation 4. I can't remember the order I went in, but God of War was probably one of the first ones. I think I played Spider-Man maybe first, and then I played God of War, and it just blew me away, man. I mean, the story, my ancestors, they kind of come from that Norse region, so, there's a connection there. Whenever that kind of mythology's told, I kind of have more of a connection there as well. And it was just immediately you connect with the story, how the graphics were amazing. I mean, for 2018, just mind-blowing. And Kratos, it's interesting because people go into that game and they played the other games, so they know the old Kratos, but I didn't know the old Kratos, so I was like, this is the Kratos for me, right? Christopher Judge and everything else, and the way his mannerisms and shit. And then when he has to pull out the Blades of Chaos, it probably didn't hit for me as what people were saying it hit for them because obviously I didn't have the history, but I knew like it was a big moment, so it sets a stage for stuff.
Huge.
I think that after I went through that whole game and experienced on that level, I think one of the reasons why it hit me so hard is because I am a parent, you know. So like that relationship he has with Atreus, how he's a little shithead, you know. I understand that because kids try to like do their own thing and they're kind of fucking annoying at times. Because Atreus, I mean, in the 2018 game, he is fucking annoying at times. You know what I'm saying? Like he just talks and talks. He thinks he's the shit at points, and he gets humbled and stuff. But it was a great journey, father and son, through that situation. Then I went back and I played God of War 3, and that was cool. Interestingly enough, I don't connect with that other style of games as much as I do the new style. So it's weird because I like the new style, the camera, the fighting style, because I'm a big Souls guy. So there's connections there with the game and stuff like that. So when I went back and played God of War 3, it was completely different because it's, you know, different camera angle. It's way different. I mean, more QTEs and more, it's just a hack and slash type of game, you know. It's helter skelter. I played games like that, like Devil May Cry and other stuff like that. But would I say it was my favorite genre? Probably not. So it's interesting to go back in time and see Kratos' journey after I platinumed the game, played the fuck out of it, and see some of the things I didn't understand, like Zeus, or I didn't understand this or that, the connecting the dots. So to play God of War 3, and then I went back and played God of War 1, and then I'm playing God of War 2. I'm not going to be able to finish it before the game, but just to see the connections there and some of the stuff that they put in there, and see the style difference between, like, let's say David Jaffe with the first game and then the second game, even because if you go play those games, there's stuff that you would even say that's DLC, right? Because they have the same type of enemies, and you kill them the same way. You like shove your blades of chaos in their mouth and they die. That's just kind of the way games work. And it's weird because I didn't really connect with the first game. It was actually kind of annoying for me in certain parts. It's probably just the age of the game or whatever. It just lots of puzzles, lots of retracing. So for me, I didn't connect with the old games as much as I do the new, which is interesting. The old Kratos voice, I liked it. I like the storylines. And it's just, I don't know, it's really good.
Is it safe to say that the new game more or less, it's kind of weird even saying it, kind of humanized Kratos more?
Oh, big time. I mean,
I think in the first couple of games they were more action oriented. Of course, they were heavily around the Greek mythology and stuff like that. But Kratos didn't really have, other than his wife dying and stuff, and we found out how his skin got tarnished by the sands or whatever it was, and stuff like that, and but outside of the death of his wife, it's like there wasn't a lot of backstory that, we didn't have a whole lot of heavy action sequences in between or cut scenes that kind of narrate. It was really a visceral experience. This one is still visceral, but again, it feels a little more, like I said, it humanizes Kratos, relationships, the feeling of loss, how he tries to basically forget or leave his past behind. So,
yeah, with what, from the first games, just how he's thrown into the story, it's like it's helter skelter, and they made a game to explain the beginnings, and I haven't even played that, but I had to go back and watch videos of like the storylines, and it is quite interesting. I mean, he was on the battlefield about to get clapped, and then he yelled out to Ares, "Hey, I'll serve you if you spare me and win this battle for me," and basically sold his soul to the God of War. And then come to find out, Ares was trying to make Kratos stronger by setting that whole situation up where he'd kill his wife and his kid, and that's just really what fueled Kratos. So Kratos was always just this dude that will kill whatever, whenever, to get revenge, and it's just a story of revenge. And then at the end of the first one, he's just like, well, I've done everything. I'm going to kill myself. And then the gods are like, nope, we're going to pull your ass out. We're going to make you the God of War. And then with the second one, the storyline's crazy, like with the Titans and everything else. And the way it's connected, he basically just destroys everything. You know, Kratos, like he destroyed the whole pantheon and left everything in ruins. You know,
In the 2018 game, what was the moment that really like stood out to you or impressed you first in that game? I can think of the moment that really like, caught my eye right off the top of my head. How about you?
Ah, man, there's so many moments in there, but the dragon fight was cool. I thought that was legit as hell. Just I don't know, the environments and like the way that they piece things together, the axe, the way you throw it, and then you know the combat and shit like that. And then the interactions with Atreus and getting skills and stuff like that. It just from like set piece wise. Oh, okay, I'll tell you. This is for sure. The world serpent when he busted out and shit, that was fucking
That's
nuts,
what I was
man.
going to say. And then later
Like
on, you actually go inside the world serpent.
I thought you were gonna fight that thing because you know the scale of the battles in the 1st game. You see him, you're like, oh shit, it's going down. But and then the way he talks, I don't know how they recorded that, but it's so like bassy and like really good, man. I think that was like the oh shit moment in that game. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like these are things in games that you know a lot of us stand up and take notice of, and when you can remember great fights and battles and set pieces, you know that's what it's all about. You know, even like the way they navigated the first game, you know, where you basically had to go around and then like the water would drain from a certain area or whatever. Was it rose or drain? It was draining, right? And,
yeah, it was.
Then
The building was coming out basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was kind of like a semi-enclosed open world to some degree. You know, it kind of reminded me of the way they did things with Tomb Raider, where they let you have a little bit of free reign, but they don't drag you off. So you spent hours just wandering into the abyss, going, "What the hell kind of side mission am I on this time?" You know?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was the world building that they did was awesome with the map, and then there's a lot of sections that. You can't explore, which definitely we're going to be hitting up in Ragnarok. You know that map, you see it, so that's the cool part. Some of the things that I didn't enjoy, fighting the same troll over and over and over, that got kind of repetitive. I'm trying to think of what else they could have done better. It just seems like all the things that I had issues with in the first game, they've kind of rectified those. Enemy variety. They're saying that the game's going to be a lot more gory because if you go back and play the first games, Kratos does some crazy shit, man. Like when he's killing his enemies, ripping heads off, smashing them. Like he fights this enemy in God of War 2, and then he smashes his head in the door and rips his like arm piece off, and you use that as like a key to get in different areas. Like. So I'm excited for them to return back to that more brutal Kratos because I think he was kind of toned down a little bit. There's still brutal things that he did. I mean, he's ripping those wolves' mouths in half and like doing crazy shit. But I mean, if you go and compare it to the other games, it was just a little bit more toned down. So I'm happy they're going to go back to the more gory shit.
Fight with the trolls and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I guess last question related along this lines. Well, it's just two, but. Essentially, do you think there was more pressure this time for Santa Monica Studio to deliver than it was on the 2018 game? I'm just curious to know how you feel on that because we saw Cory Barlog. I mean, who is one of the more active people on the social media scene, and we saw like his absolute like meltdown and breakdown in a good way from the reaction that the game received, and it was amazing. Like, as a fan, you know, you can tell that the pressure and the passion and everything was all there, and it was accumulation. And if you watch the that fantastic documentary about making
Raising
Kratos, that was great, really well done. And it kind of gives you an insight that like how much work goes into making a game like this. And the biggest one with that one's the gamble they took, like the massive gamble. And it still stands out, you know, like the first time they showed the game and the direction and the kind of looks that they kind of got from some of the brass is kind of like, what kind of God of War is this, right?
Exactly. One of the things that we constantly talk about in video games in general is that a lot of these established franchises, they hit a wall when it comes to like how many times they put out the product, and then people kind of get tired of the same old. And Sony Santa Monica was against the wall, man, with their game. They had to it was kind of on the decline with the scores and like popularity of Kratos, so they had to do something major and change it. And there was a time there where they're kind of questioning whether or not this shit was going to actually happen in that documentary. Like, it was very stressful because taking any established franchise would be like taking anything like Mario or Halo that has such a footprint in the industry, and then flipping it upside down and changing so much. Because if you go and play this game and you go play the previous ones, it is way different. I don't know how to compare it to like an Xbox game.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe making Halo third person and changing a whole bunch of shit, or doing something crazy.
Imagine if you made Master Chief not be able to jump.
Exactly,
that was a huge thing. I mean, because that was the weird, one thing in all the other 3 games that he had was the jump. You could jump and do combos in the air. Now he doesn't jump. Maybe it's because he just got old. I don't know. But, that was a huge design set piece that they dropped. Not to mention, you mentioned about the whole Blades of Chaos thing, which was a big surprise because, see, I didn't get the game spoiled on me when I bought it in 2018. I'm playing through this game, and I'm thinking, like I loving it, but I'm like, what the where's the Blades of Chaos? I'm like, I get this axe, and the axe was cool, don't get me wrong, but I was like, man, there was something amazing about the Blades of Chaos, right? And then, of course, as the game goes on, and then when you finally get to that point where he takes him out of the floor, and you're just like, oh, shit, it's going to happen now, baby.
But you missed the weight of it. The weight of it wasn't that he grabbed the Blades of Chaos. It was what Athena was saying to him in the background, that you are a monster. And that thing, that is what
he
really
admitted
was
it too. I mean, his identity. It's just, yeah. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. Keep going.
No, but that was what made it so freaking impactful. Like, he is going back to his. It is like he tries to escape that. He's trying to put on a new skin. He's trying to be a different person for his kid. But as much as the old saying goes, just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in. It was that
I am a monster,
moment.
Daniel Jackson. Sorry.
And that scene.
Yeah.
That scene is what solidified that game for me.
I mean, that's the impact, the storytelling had. That's the crazy part. It's like the movies, the trailer that they pieced together for Ragnarok, it was more impactful for me than a lot of these movie trailers that have been putting out. So it's just the story element in that game is just like, wow, okay.
Speaking of promotions, though, for the game that you got me on this, did you guys watch the whole Ben Stiller advertising for the game?
No. I did not.
No, Ben Stiller's dressed up as Kratos, and they all got their sons. So it's Ben Stiller with his son, and it's LeBron James and his son. Who's the other one?
I can't remember. They had like a bunch of comedians there, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But
so just kind of bringing it back in, like, which game do you think had more pressure? Do you think 2018, or do you think the new one to basically meet or exceed the old one?
I think
both. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think they both have a large amount of pressure. 2018 was a large change. I mean, the pressure was for them to prove that they could do something that was different, so different from the other ones, to also build on a story that, like you said, it was built. The older games, they had story and they had some background, but it was almost, two-dimensional. It wasn't. It was still there, but it wasn't as deep as what they did in 2018. 2018, they gave it full depth. They gave you a lot more background. They gave you a whole bunch more to actually like sink your teeth into. And so it was a big step for them to take. And I think here, now it's the challenge of what can we do to bring people back and to wow them again and to bring them into it. I know they've got people, and like you said, they probably are feeling pretty confident, but at the same time, they've got to be pretty nervous to make sure that they can be as successful or close to.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Salty.
Yeah, I think it's not easy to put out any game that would reach that level of critical acclaim. And I was worried about GOW Ragnarok suffering from that DLC effect, because if you go and look back at some of these older games, you see, they change a lot, of course. I mean, even going from God of War 1 to God of War 2, but I mean, there's still a lot of the shit that's the same. He's using the Blades of Chaos. You're doing like similar moves or similar enemies that they used in each game. So it's like when you go from one to another, and it was so quick of a turnaround because the first one, to get it off the ground, it took a long time. They had to like redo the whole formula. So I think that once they had that established, and I think a lot of the elements in this game because they were thinking about doing a DLC, and then it expanded so much that they decided just to put it to the next game. So they had the story written out, and like once you have the most important things, like the biggest things they changed, like the combat, how Kratos looks, the story, the engine, all that stuff. You got to imagine they got all that hard stuff out of the way. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to pass this to a new director, which is that's scary in itself. Cause you look at the way it worked out with Star Wars, you know, we're not going to get into it, but having multiple directors, sometimes their vision's a lot different. And then sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't connect, but Barlog, Corey, exactly.
No, but you
Corey,
can't say that. You can't say
what's
that
up?
though. They've been doing that since like God of War was Jaffe. God of War 2 was Balrog. God of War 3 was Stig Agmason. Then they gave it back to Balrog. So every God of War has had a new director, if memory serves me correctly.
I mean, Corey worked on multiple of them and stuff, but and he was involved in this one as well. But it is still, no matter how much you have established and how much they've done in the past, that's a big risk because, like I said, even in movies or whatever, if you pass it to a new director, I guess it comes down to like establishing a story and leadership because Star Wars didn't really have that.
It's funny you mentioned all this though, because one game that often gets left off the God of War radar was God of War Ascension, which was still a good game by many accounts. It was one that's the only one in the God of War franchise I never played. I even played the PSP games, which were phenomenal. But
who directed Ascension?
I'm not sure. Like Stieg did number 3. I get that. Corey Barlog come in and did 2018. And Corey Barlog is not the primary director on the new one, I don't think, is he? There's another guy,
no,
but
he's
I
not.
think Corey has obviously a role in the game, right?
Todd Pappy, I don't know who the fuck that is. He did God of War Ascension.
You played both PSP games, Noof?
Yes.
Who the fuck did you piss off?
They were good games.
Now he's in fucking denial. I mean, by now you would have gone to the stage of acceptance that it was a fucking.
There was a cell phone game at one point too.
Jesus, wild, I tell you.
I mean, denial,
fucking man.
I mean, denial is the first stage of fucking greed.
I'm sorry, Wize Old Gamer, you had such a trouble playing the PSP games because of the one nub.
Exactly. If I wanted to play with my one nub, well, I'll change the topic.
It's crazy. But, I guess my point there is, just because you associate a big name with the game doesn't always mean instant success. And it wasn't that it was a bad game, but I think it came out at the wrong time. I think largely, too, with Ascension, it came out almost a little too close to God of War 3, and I think fans were still heavily involved in number 3, and it just kind of got overlooked. So I don't have all the answers for why Ascension struggled, but obviously it was definitely not one of the pinnacle games, and like I said, it gets left off a lot of lists. So
it was a prequel, so it's really hard to have a prequel succeed unless it's exceptional. Ascension was the prequel to, I think, all of the stories before then. So, yeah.
God of War 2018 had a lot of challenges because, first of all, it had to be built on new hardware. It was a completely different engine. It looked and played entirely different. It was built on a PS4. Like I said, there was like a million gambles going on there, and luckily enough, it set the stage for Ragnarok because of the success of 2018's God of War. It almost basically means now, like, Ragnarok, is almost going to be an instant success. I think not only is it scoring well, but it's going to sell extremely well out of the gate and probably will eclipse the original game from 2018 sales in no time at all.
There's a fucking line in goddamn Mumbai waiting for that goddamn game. There was a guy who They showed a TikTok video of a line outside of a fucking store in Mumbai, of all fucking places.
Mumbai, you mathematical turd. Jesus
Geographically
that is my home country. If I want to call it Mumbai, it will be Mumbai. Okay?
Warn us next time, Paul.
I was really disappointed. I was hoping my GameStop was going to do a midnight release, but apparently didn't. They decided they didn't have enough pre-order numbers, so boo.
Apparently, Jago Kukins is doing a midnight release, but Jago's not going. So,
How many ordered from Direct PlayStation? How
I
many
don't
of
know.
y'all ordered
I
it?
like I said, I usually just go to my GameStop because Walmarts don't do any fucking midnight launches. I can't remember the last time Walmart, or at least my Walmart, did anything midnight launch.
Okay,
here's
the one thing you don't want to do is go to Walmart at midnight.
Yeah, you might see Paul there.
No.
That's when Paul goes to get his groceries.
Let's just say the freaks come
You'll
out at
never
night,
see
buddy.
me and the people of Walmart.
Why are
Folio.
you there
No.
buying why are you buying God of War? It's not even next gen.
Dear God, shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously.
You got God of War. It's right here in the crack. Go ahead and grab
You know, I've got, I will, my roommate getting the new God of War. I haven't played the 2018 one either. The only God of War I really played through, I had a PS3. I played it on PS3. I enjoyed that, whatever one it was.
Would have been number 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was a very cool game. Not really my usual type. What I do like, I'm going to bring this up. What I do like about this one is the day one patch fixes a bunch of the accessibility issues. I'm like, okay, now it's for me. So
Right.
I actually retweeted that tweet. They actually did a list of all the accessibility stuff they corrected or whatever for day one. So.
Before we bring someone in else here, I'm also curious, Salty, now that you've gone back to play the old games, the one major omission from 2018 was the lack of sex scenes. How did that transpire with yourself? Were you a little bit thrown back after kind of going back in time, and then what the hell? Like Kratos was like banging the ladies in those old games.
Did you? In other words, did you want Kratos sex in high def? Is what he's asking you.
Man, I mean, I feel like I got robbed.
Japanese.
He could.
Everybody's playing 2018's version and going, there must be a secret zone in this game somewhere where I bang somebody. What's going on?
The game reminded me so much of the relationship between me and my son, and the only thing that was missing was a sex scene where my son was watching.
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
What the hell?
I was like, down, left, right, as many times as a man can, and I can't make them fuck.
Yeah,
So
the
this is where it
QTEs
goes.
for 3, man, was. No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is why Noob doesn't let me run the show because he knows I would mute Wize Old Gamer like 90% of the time.
I think there's something wrong with his fucking mic, Paul.
Oh, it's static again. Too bad.
This is how your brother was made. You were made through a test tube, but this is how your brother was made. So.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, imagine like God of War Ragnarok could add sex scenes with the resistance triggers and the haptics.
Oh
man.
jeez.
Oh my Lord. Could
Not
you
saying
imagine?
I was so looking forward to
The resistance.
No,
The moaning starts coming through the microphone of the controller. Oh.
You're like, there's no resistance. What happens?
Yeah.
I'm knocking on the hall.
Well, you get at that point, Salty, you have to blow into the controller. So yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought the sex scene was going to be.
Okay, well, you know what? You just gave me all new great ideas for PSVR 2 porn.
Exactly.
Fuck, man.
If they do that right, PlayStations are going to literally fly out. Or no,
Ragnarok is coming, and so are you.
If Nintendo was just a different company, the Wii could have been a completely different console.
Yeah.
You ever tried No More Heroes on the Wii?
Oh yeah. Oh.
You had to shake those sticks pretty vigorously. Let me tell you, you got some good real world training up in there. I gotta charge this lightsaber. What are you doing, son?
Run out of juice again. I gotta
The good old virtual shake weight. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. And it's all the shit we're way off topic, but all the shit you used to stick on top of the fucking Wii controllers. Like, you'd buy all these fucking contraptions. Like, Jesus.
I'm telling you, man, it was the first. Oh, dude. They could have done some things that were missing from that console. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Yeah, imagine if the Wii had force feedback. Holy crap.
Well, and then came the Move controllers, which literally look like dildo sticks.
It had light and vibration, and it was phallic. I'm just telling you, dude.
Speak for yourself.
Things could have been done.
Speak for yourself. I use the Wii lanyards to the best.
I'm sure you do, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many, like, what's the over and under, like, how many what are they called? The move sticks, the dildo sticks for how? What's the over on under that people got those shoved up their ass? And had
Oh,
to
it's
go
the
to
way
go
over.
to
It's
the
way
hospital.
over.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
it's
those
way
are
over.
Guaranteed
Yeah.
somebody
There's a
tried it,
problem.
Salty. I'd be willing to put
Yeah.
money on it.
There's a
All I
problem.
gotta say
Hospital, they
is-
scan you. They're like, "What is this? What's happening here?"
It gives
Well,
a
I
whole
was.
new level to playing red light, green light. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I bet you every time there's a PlayStation VR or any VR that gets traded into an electronics store, it goes through a thorough fucking disinfection.
Oh god,
Yeah.
the fucking Sony tech trying to work on it. Jesus Christ. It's the
Yeah, I
third one full of
don't
shit.
I don't
What's
think this
going on
is
with these
dust that's
people?
stuck in the crevices of this controller.
Yeah.
Jizz crumbs.
I honestly
Yeah,
Oh,
for those
fuck.
of us who know Flamish, he admits he watches VR porn, and I'm like, no, not ever touching your controllers. Yeah, nope.
Can you imagine Flamish? You'd be like, yes, but it is so fun. I must come and play with my controllers.
say what
Oh,
you will,
God.
say what you will, but the lack of a sex scene with the World Serpent was a missed opportunity in my book.
Ooh.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, let's reel back into God of War here. It's not called God of Horror; it's God of War. So,
Because we had Hitler and Satan in South Park, so we're all okay.
all right. So I guess Salty last one, and we're gonna move it over to. We'll get some more opinions here. Obviously, the reviews coming out good. Obviously, they've got to be very relieved. Sony is obviously very relieved. And also, to top it all off, finally it's starting to look like there's a bit of a trickle of PlayStation consoles in stores. I'm actually seeing them out in the wild now, including
it's
Series X,
crazy.
which is great. Just in time, I guess you could say, because nothing worse than releasing one of your biggest flagship titles and not having a console to sell around it. So,
They got PS4s.
yeah, how do you feel about the reviews? And what's your final takeaway for the new God of War? I mean, really, how excited are you?
Dude, I can't tell you. Well, first of all, we'll start off with kind of the confusing thing. I'm wondering why there's not custom console like with the PlayStation 5. It seems like a missed opportunity. You remember the
Yeah, they have it on
what is
PS4.
Gears of War custom 1X that looks like ice all over it and shit.
I have
I
that
have
one.
that
Yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think
fucking
that was dope, and I just feel like the plates are perfect to be able to. I mean, they could have just made plates if they wanted to.
I was gonna say they had the plates. I don't know why they're not taking advantage of the
yeah.
plate market
It's
for
just
a
that
lot
they
of their
could,
stuff.
yeah, they could print
Yeah.
those off. People would buy them, put them up, and I think that's a missed opportunity. I'm not sure why they're not doing that, but as far as like the Metacritic goes and stuff like that, Sony's made it super clear that that's one of the most important things to them is the reception and like critical reception of their games, which puts it on like an extremely high pressure environment because it's not easy to put games out that get critical reviews from people. They always have issues with something. So the fact that you could follow up God of War 2018, which beat the juggernaut, which was Red Dead 2, which had like a 97, and then follow that up with a sequel that meets the same score. Because if you look at Metacritic's history, people don't understand like how many games are in that high 90s range. It's not that much, man. I mean, over like a 20-year period, it's like you look at the high 90s and stuff like that. So I think it was incredibly like a lot of pressure for the director. I don't even know the dude's name, which is an issue, but I know that you have that established and then you put a sequel out, and the natural tendency is to be like, okay, well, where are you going from here? What are you going to change? Is this just glorified DLC?
Right.
How do you differentiate this game from the last one? So I think it was a lot of pressure, and I think they have a lot of relief now that they got it out. It's going to sell. I think the holiday's perfect for it. I think a lot of games were like, oh shit, God of War's coming out. I'm bouncing out of 2022.
Well, you know what they
right
say:
holidays.
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's the thing that a lot of people don't have to understand. You just got to make it bigger and better. You don't necessarily have to change anything, right?
Yeah, I'm
But
interested
remember,
to see
fans are fickle though. You do that, and then they go, "Oh, it's just more of the same." So
It's
you
true.
there's
Yeah.
a balancing act there.
Yeah, it's kind of like Halo. It's like you want, a certain part of the fan base want them to change things, and then when they do change things, then the staunch, like established people are like, you change too much,
Yeah.
and then they bitch about it. It's just like with any franchise like that, you got to walk this fine tightrope, and I feel
Well,
like that'd
and
be
once we're
impossible to do.
once we're past midnight tonight, you're probably going to get some of that for God of War, just
Yeah,
because
facts.
big
Yeah.
franchises, you always get that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that prefer the old game, and like I said, I almost feel they're so different, like they're not even the same game. I know that they're
Yeah.
connected, but
That's true. Yeah.
It just feels like it's a completely different game for me. When I played all the other games, it's just way different. Like they have things that connect the games, like the Blades of Chaos do, like in 2018, does similar moves from past games and shit, but. They're
Well, it's
different
like
my-
games.
my question
for us
is-
old people who play the new Fallout games, you know, the stuff we've been playing the last 10 years or so is nothing like Fallout 1 was.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. And some people
kinda
still
like-
love Fallout 1, and some people can't play it because it's so different from what they're used to.
Yeah, it's kind of like, look at Mario's evolution. You're playing
Yeah.
the 2D plane, and then you look at Super Mario Odyssey. I'm sure throwing a hat around pissed some people off. Like, that's not my Mario. God damn it, he's throwing a hat around and shit.
Well,
You know?
like I said, like they do, like I love the Legend of Zelda games for the most part, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not overly impressed with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I have my issues with that game.
Sacrilege.
I
breaking every
you know what my
second.
favorite
What?
Zelda game is? It's Wind Waker.
Why the fuck am I even
Windmaker's
taking
good,
your
too.
opinion? You like the freaking PSP God of War games. Get the fuck out of here.
Nah, but so Zelda Breath of the Wild, I know it's off topic, but I think it's overrated as well. I think that people give up that game a lot of pass for some of the shit it does. Like the weapon breaking mechanics in that game are fucking annoying. You can pick up a cool weapon, use it for 4 times, it snaps on you. and
At
you're
some
like,
point,
well,
you think you would have got a fucking sword in a game that's at least like, or you could modify the
even
sword
the
at some
Master
point that it
Sword
stays.
fucking doesn't
Don't get me
last
started
the whole
on
time.
weapon breaking in games. I hate that shit.
Well, it's putting
That
it
mechanic's
in,
crazy.
Yeah, building something in place that would allow you to
Okay.
keep the ones that you want, or build some way
Yeah.
to make them unbreakable would be cool. Especially with the end game, make the end game bad. But yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Yeah, it's just,
I
it's
know
hard
what
to
some
connect
people
yourself
said.
with the weapons.
You know, I've heard people say, well, you know, because that just makes it more challenging with the play style, and you have to
No,
switch up
no.
the way
you put 100
I
hours
said,
in
no,
the game.
all that is for 90% of the people out there is extremely annoying. Not to mention he has a very limited
Facts.
stamina meter. I mean, the dude
Stamina
couldn't
bar is
the
annoying
dude
as
the
fuck.
dude couldn't fucking swim across a puddle before he was fucking dying. It was like, what the heck? Come on, man.
I
Like,
was
well,
all
that-
that-
Hey, he's a
think it was a-
plumber. He eats lots of pizza, man.
I think it was an amazing
Zelda
proof of
dodo.
concept. It was amazing proof of concept for something that was like
Yeah.
an incredible sandbox of things you could do. I think, but I think it almost feels like it was built for something else, and they're like, let's
Yeah.
just make this a Zelda game. And
Yeah.
I think it was well done. I think it looked good, but it could have looked incredible, and they could have been better. And my biggest problem is it strayed so far away from the standard formula. It was interesting, but it was also kind of empty.
how
because of
did
that.
it stray?
Yeah,
How,
the
whoa,
world-
whoa, whoa,
the world
whoa,
was
whoa.
very
How,
empty.
how,
Dungeons,
how?
the
Wait, wait.
dungeons. There were no
Okay,
no
dungeons were
dungeons. The
repetitive.
dungeons
Like-
weren't even there.
I'm taking you
That's
back to
the
the
key
87
puzzle
Zelda,
shit.
the
game.
87 gold cartridge Zelda.
Don't
put the
think
cartridge in.
that was the first Zelda game.
Yeah, that was the first one, and you pretty much had the open reign to everything. When I saw that opening screen where he goes in and he looks at that world, I go back to that. That was what I was envisioning.
that was what it was tended to be. But the problem
The
is
dungeon- yeah.
it strayed so far away from the conventions that they had built to this point. And I know that they were trying to kind of go back to that, but they also ignored in that game the dungeons. There were dungeons in that game that weren't here. The beasts that you did were interesting, but they weren't a good replacement for the dungeons. And the story was almost non-existent. The story felt empty. So, I mean, my
And the
favorite is
world was empty,
Twilight
too.
Princess is my favorite Zelda game of all time.
Yeah.
That's the one I like the best.
So yeah, it does.
like
It does
Majora's
seem
Mask.
like they had this game idea and they said, well, let's just make it a Zelda game, and they kind of
yeah.
Well, Zelda
patchworked it
always
in.
never
Yeah.
had a freaking story. It was always in the first game.
It
Save the princess.
always
That
had a story.
What do you mean it never had a story, Paul?
And later on, when
What
it
have
became
you been
Gold-
sniffing?
No. Well,
Please.
I'm sniffing a whole hell of a lot, but that's not the point. But my point being is the original OG.
Oh no!
Zelda didn't
You're
have a
okay.
story.
You're really mixing it up with what people have grown up and gotten used to. What you're saying is, oh, we went back to the original one that had nothing, so we're
That
going to
had
give you nothing. No, that doesn't fly. It's
Why
also
doesn't-
it's the same excuse that people say, oh, we can never voice Link because It'll be terrible. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Anybody, yeah, exactly. Or, and that's all you ever hear of it. Yeah.
There you go, Nintendo. You just got some recordings for your next game. The whole panel's doing a voice.
I've heard Chris Pratt is willing to voice Zelda.
I'll take it.
Anyway, we're kind of getting really off topic. Back to you, Salty. Just kind of final thoughts.
Yeah, man, I'm interested to see where this franchise goes because there's kind of rumors of it taking a break or not taking a break. So it's just like Kratos is obviously the main dude, but then they're putting Atreus in there, and I don't know. I just don't know where they're gonna go. I know that they were thinking about going to Egypt before they decided on Norse. So
you think Sony might be ballsy enough at some point to basically kill off Kratos and maybe Atreus becomes your main protagonist?
I don't know about that. Maybe like kind of put a shelf in him, but it'd be kind of like killing Mario or Master Chief. Or
I think it'd be kind of cool if they sort of did like a fake kill, like a part of the game before obviously spoilers. You kind of kill him, get fans really pissed, and then like later on in the game he comes back.
Yeah, because you're never. I mean, with Kratos, he's been killed before, right? I mean, he got stabbed by Zeus, big ass hole in him, and then they gets pulled out and. He's fighting shit in the underworld, so he just. I mean, he never really remains dead. I mean, but it is one of those big question marks. But I don't know. I don't like. How would you move on to the next game?
If they wanted to test those waters, they could always make an Atreus focused game and say for some reason, Kratos is on vacation in the Bahamas or whatever,
I personally, if they did the Atreus only game, I'd be like, fuck that. I'm out. I'm a big Kratos guy. I like Atreus for what he does in the game, but
the way society's going
I've been watching my friend play the 2018 one, and from what I can tell, what Atreus does, he just runs around and talks to the bad guys and annoys the shit out of them. Well, his daddy beats him up, so I guess
with the way society's gone, I'm surprised we haven't had a goddess of war.
Yeah,
well,
don't
even put that in the
Shut up, man. What you gotta do that?
You gotta wait. Keep that shit in your mouth.
Or they're gonna let you choose your character, and you're gonna be able to put a wig on Kratos and give him boobs.
Yeah. Well, speaking of putting shit in people's mouths, let's go with Wize Old Gamer. What's your thoughts on the new God of War? You excited?
Well, here's the thing. I am cautiously excited because I ordered the collector's edition on Direct PlayStation, and as of this afternoon, it just shipped.
Oh,
now, am I going to get it tomorrow? They are all promising me that I'm going to get it tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited for it. But I'm on bated breath for it right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't count your eggs.
Yeah,
masturbated breath, but
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, by the 2018 game, and let me say this, and I'm gonna get. I mean, I don't want to put a damper on all of this, but and new for this, but around that time, that was when a lot of the shit was hitting the fan for me, and I was playing this game, and I normally deal with annoying fucking brats all day long. That's basically my profession, but I was playing this game, and the story. There was a lot of other things that I didn't care for. I didn't care for the movement. It was not as quick as the original God of Wars were, and that I had to sort of warm up to it. But that story, especially when he donned the Blades of Chaos for the first time, it's about a father and a son, and a father who has done a lot of transgressions. And I'm myself, I'm going to be the first to admit that when I was going through what I was going through, I'm no one to to skirt my comeuppance, and it was that when I was playing that game and with everything that was going through my life at that time, it was like, okay, now your kid knows about your past. Can there be a relationship, a respectable relationship between you and your son, your kid knowing the skeletons in your closet? And when I played that game and I saw what happened between Kratos and Atreus, when I finished the game, I stopped and I couldn't play anything for a month after that because the themes and all of that stuff was resonating in my brain. And it was the first time a video game gave me that type of experience, and maybe because of what I was going through, maybe because I am a father with a kid around that age at that time, it meant a lot. And to this day, I have never had a game that has emotionally impacted me to that severe extent. And I will always hold God of War's story, at least the 2018 story, up as the highest story or the best story I've ever seen in gaming. And again, it is selfish, but it was what I was going through at that time, and it was basically a story of redemption for a father as he's raising his son, and it meant a lot to me at that time. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Absolutely. So you obviously got your collector's edition ordered. That's the one with the hammer, right?
Yeah, I can't pronounce this name to save my fucking life.
Jotner?
Yeah, the Jotner collection and whatever. I also got the controller too. So
Jotner.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The
Jotner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jotner.
I'm an Asian man. I'm not a Swedish guy or a German guy or Anglo-Saxon.
Was anybody? By the way, was anybody a little bit shocked in the 2018 game? Remember when we finally saw? Was it Thor and he was fat?
Oh yeah.
In what?
In 2018's God of War, you finally got to see Thor, and he was kind of a bit of a fat guy.
They hit it a little bit because they showed it's kind of a flash at the end when he comes to the door, right?
Is that where Marvel got their goddamn idea? Fucking stupid. Christ.
Hey, look,
idiot.
he's fat in this game.
Let's make him a big tubby boy.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, there's so many great moments. You obviously played the old games as well, Wize Old Gamer, and you prefer the new ones over the old ones?
Well, the old ones were good at their time.
Yeah.
It was just totally a rage. It was really one of those games that you could really turn your brains off, right? You could come home at night, just turn off your brain, and just go hack and slash shit to death. And
okay, so you turned off your brain 20 years ago. When are you going to turn it back on? We're wondering. Yeah.
Well, at least I have one to turn on and off. That's all I got.
I keep mine in the drawer next to my bed. So yeah,
Smart man.
keeps
That's
it
how those
fresh.
piss.
Is that the stuff that you masturbate to? Sorry.
I'm smarter than you, math teacher. I will guarantee you, I'm smarter than you, math teacher.
That's the jar he keeps it in.
Well, it's nice and moist and soft and fatty, and I guess it could be.
You're talking about yourself again, aren't you? Yeah.
No.
Real quick, let's catch up with the chat real quick because we got a lot of guests in here that we haven't acknowledged. I want to say hello to Mr. Royal Boyle 78. Good to see you, Royal. Thanks for stopping in. As I said, we got Phasma hanging out with us. I saw Princess Zelda here in the chat earlier. Princess Zelda, good to see you, and thanks for coming out to Community Game Night. That was an absolute blast. We got Portal Player hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you, Portal. It's been a while. We got the Xbot 448 is in the building. What's going on, Xbot? Good to see you as well. Sir X-Man is dangling around the chat. I'm assuming the guy is working and lurking. Good to see you here as well. Tony Grasso is here. Jason Max, and many, many more. Thank you guys for coming up. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. It would mean a great deal to me if you did. So thank you so much for that. Any further thoughts of Wize Old Gamer on God of War?
Well, I mean, I think the next iteration there's got to be another one, right? I mean, it goes without saying this is such a huge success, and so they've went through the Greek pantheon, they've been through the Norse pantheon. So what will be the next pantheon he would go through, right? You can re-envision a game once, which they did from the regular.
He's going to Asia.
But do you here's the thing. If he goes to another pantheon and he goes and he kills whatever pantheon you wanted to call it, right? It would be Mesopotamian pantheon. Well, I don't give a fuck whatever gods he wants to kill. Wouldn't it be kind of redundant, or do you think people would lose favor with that? That's my question. That's my only concern. It's where could you go with this? You've already done the sun trope. You've already done the killing the gods trope. What is next beyond just more of the freaking same? And, you risk sort of milking your franchise to death. Not that PlayStation doesn't do it. It does it plenty of times. But I think that maybe they should give it a break for a very long time and maybe reconsider with the story. So
I heard he's going to take a sabbatical, join the priesthood where he's surrounded by boys.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Come under
that won't end well. That won't.
So he's going to the Roman Catholic pantheon. That's
Oh.
Do not be
Gonna
afraid.
fight Jesus
It is
next.
uncircumcised, I understand.
Oh my god.
It's interesting they've changed his location, and they can't quite get away with what Assassin's Creed does because Assassin's Creed changes the protagonist to get away with that.
Right.
You know, to go to the different gods and the different mythos. You know, they don't have the same guy going. You know, he's Italian, then all of a sudden he's German, then all of a sudden he, whatever. You know, it's
Kratos goes to space and battles some kind of fucking
there
space
you go.
alien or something.
There you go. Kratos in space.
Jason in space. Did you guys?
Kratos X.
Kratos
kills
X.
that
He throws his axe. It's just like fucking floating.
Hey,
Oh my god.
Kratos takes Manhattan.
When you're
There it is.
Huh?
Kratos
Dev
takes
team's on
Manhattan.
crack.
There it is.
Oh my god.
Kratos takes Manhattan. There it is. There, yeah.
I wonder how many fucking ideas like that, a dev team actually gets, like when they're like sitting around the old boardroom table and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do next? Like, hey, let's go to space, and we start laughing.
Oh yeah. They're while they're drinking beers and stuff, they're saying some
smoking crack.
stupid shit.
Oh, we got to lessen that guy's prescription, the marijuana. He's a little.
Live is on Mars. Very cool.
Well, in order to be, maybe the reason he doesn't have a sex scene anymore because he can't do it anymore. He needs a blue pill, and they don't have blue
Oh
pills.
my
at that
lord.
age.
A blue pill.
It's like, come join us. Wait, let me take my pill.
Boy, what did you do with my pills?
Or maybe it's a little weird with the sun around so much in the goddamn game. Just saying.
Yeah, whenever you get kids, that's kind of what happens. You start to kind of lose it.
Yeah.
leave the room.
Yeah.
Boy,
got
watch
things
this.
to
Yeah, it's hard in a game like this because the kid was never that far away from him. So it'd be like, he'd be in there trying to do his thing and all. Dad, what are you doing, Dad? What are you doing?
Oh shit. Who else wants to jump in here? Paul, Praxis. Anybody excited? You got your pre-order copy?
Like I said, I only played the one. I am excited for it. Like I mentioned, it has the accessibility stuff, which heightens my excitement because on older games like that, even with the one on the PS3, there's lots of it I had trouble doing just because of my hands work. So I am looking forward to it. I will check it out. I might even play it. I might even set up so I can stream to my Twitch channel from the PS5.
Nice.
I won't have all my screens and stuff, but I'll still be able to Twitch to stream it. So, we'll see. But I will be checking it out. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm me. I'll play whatever I can get my hands on, and if it's good, I play it. If it's not, I won't.
Well, like I say, from experience, that I found the
you have to
2018 version of God of War to be actually more challenging than the older games, simply because the new game is a bit more RPG based. It's got level based enemies.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other game, there was no leveling. You just got in, and of course you upgraded your powers, and you got more powerful as you went along. But all the enemies were kind of, they didn't have life meters and stuff. You just went in and you annihilated everybody, right? And it got more fun as you got bigger and better weapons. But
What do you mean you're not supposed to just run right at the purple people right away? Right away?
no,
Yeah.
apparently not. No, it's not a good idea. Oh
No,
no,
no
it's
shit.
happened to me a couple times. I get off on a beach and start fucking fighting these dudes. Like, holy shit, these guys take a million hits.
But
Get back in the let's go, boy. Let's get back in the boat.
that kind of reminds me of the first Crackdown, where you could really level up your guy and just go in and own the town. If you didn't do anything, you could just level him up and just go in and just, blam, blow up half the block and go, okay, this part's done. And then go on to the.
It's kind of the Superman effect a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
When they put something like that in an RPG, it's like, boy, get back in the boat. Dad, why? I thought you were a god. Oh, I was until I got in this goddamn game.
We picked the wrong
Get in the
beach.
fucking boat.
This is the fucking purple beach.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys.
It's like, which is
Yeah, there's
the
the
worst.
issue.
I hate games where you're a god or godlike and you can't swim for shit. Okay, what? Really? You hit the water, you died. What the hell?
The only thing they should have had on the boat while they were rowing from one shore to the other, the little kid should have said, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Yeah. And Kratos going 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Yeah.
Keep your goddamn mouth shut.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, one of the other parts too that I thought was great in the 2018 was the whole Mimir part too.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's got a big fucking head on the back of his ass for the whole game.
That was dope.
You know,
That was
Awesome.
classic.
That actually reminded me of Hellboy 2 a little bit.
yeah.
And then of course you got the two what did the two brothers that fucking make the weapons for you? Those were
Oh
cool
yeah.
too.
Midgets.
Yeah, the two fucking blue guys.
Yeah, the
They,
midgets.
they ate Kratos' blue pills apparently.
Yeah.
Now we know it's sexy.
bigger, stronger.
You know, and if it, you know, going back to the boat thing real quick, if it really is father and son, just have Atreus doing his yakety yak thing, and
Yeah.
Kratos, don't make me turn this boat around. I swear to God. Or in his case, I swear to me, I will turn this boat around.
Yeah, one of the missed opportunities was they could have put fishing on the boat, man. You and your son having a fishing trip. Come on.
Fishing. That's it.
Lord. Imagine the
Hey,
tranquility of one spot. Right
All
in the middle
games
of
like
all
that should have fishing. All games like that should have fishing.
Oh, yeah. No,
And they
that-
should always have a dog you can pet. Those are the
Great
two
bonding
rules.
Well, that's what the guy was
Father
saying
and
about the
son.
Sonic Frontiers review today when I was reading. He's like, yeah, it's even got fishing in there. It's like the mandatory RPG thing now in the
No,
open
it's
world.
Sega, for Christ's sake. They're
Yeah.
like #1 with fishing games.
Yeah, Sonic is fishing. Yeah, Sega bass fishing. Yeah, but
Hey,
Sonic
what's wrong
knows
with
how.
fishing? You know that I load up RDR2. I go fishing to relax. If I go into Sea of Thieves, I go fishing to relax.
There's nothing wrong
I
with
mean-
fishing. I met my wife on plenty of fish. What do you say?
Yeah.
They had an opportunity missed. They could have had a great moment when the son was like, "I swear to God," and he goes, "Swear to me."
I swear to me.
Yeah, they could have some fun with the mods on God of War. That's for sure. Oh my lord!
Jesus,
All right, practice. You got anything you'd like to add?
nothing good.
Nothing
no.
good. All right, bring it in.
No, I enjoyed.
Portal player says Kratos in Egypt.
Oh, jeez.
He's gonna fight the pharaohs.
Woo,
Kratos
boy,
versus
Pretty badass
Jesus.
gods. Yeah, there we go.
I was gonna
That's the
say,
one.
yeah.
Kratos versus Jesus. You
We
can
just
walk
went-
on water. You can drown in it too. Oh.
We just went from the mummy
Can you
to
imagine?
South Park, for Christ's sake. What's
And-
going on
That'd
here?
be
At that
fucking
point, if we do
crazy.
Kratos in Egypt, at that point, are we introducing the Stargate at this point? You know?
How many
Stargate
times have those
couldn't-
fucking Egyptian gods been killed anyways in games? I don't
Well,
know.
it's kind of funny because Christopher Judge was in Stargate,
He was in
though.
Star. I was
Yeah,
gonna
he
say
was.
that.
He was
He
teal.
looked weird in that show, man.
What?
No,
He did a great job in that show.
No,
was
he
supposed-
looked weird. He looked weird.
Well, he was an alien, dude. He was an
I know,
alien. He was
I know,
supposed
I know.
He had a worm in his stomach, okay?
Right. He was symbiotic worm that he had to take care of, otherwise he'd die. God damn it! Don't you know shows?
And the forehead brand, which I thought was cool, the brand on the forehead.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where the dude like stuck his dick on him and said, "It's mine.
Oh shit!
I think we're
You're
taking
one of
this-
mine."
I think we're taking this in the totally wrong direction. Instead of
What do you
him
mean?
going to another pantheon with another set of gods to kill, what if he just breaks the fourth fucking wall and goes to other video games? He goes to Aloy's universe and says, "Woman, let me show you how it's done."
So
Or,
you
he
want
goes to Ratchet-
Wreck-It Kratos is what you want. Okay.
Exactly. Going to Ratchet and Clank, all rapid
Well, he
rapid
wants-
universes.
Okay.
Wog starts talking in the porn bot show. What the fuck?
Well, when you got it, you got it. So what do you say?
Phasma says it's Ragnarok's playable in less than an hour.
Well, practices go with the old God of Wars. What was your favorite of the ones you played in the past?
I honestly, to be honest, I only played the first one. I played it for a
Okay.
while. I
Fair
liked
enough.
it. I thought it was good, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't grab me. It was enjoyable, but I don't know. It didn't pull me in. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's amazing," and I said, "Yeah, it was great," but the second one and third one came out, and I just didn't keep following it. So
Right.
it's all my fault, I know. But when 2018 came out, I got that, and that was fucking amazing. I was gonna say the moment you were talking about, the moment that like blew you. Well, the part that fucking blew me away was the first fucking fight
No,
when Baldur, when he fights Baldur.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
that was
holy
awesome
fucking
too, yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ! It got crazy all of a sudden. I'm like, this game is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blew me away.
Yep. That's right. First,
By the way,
first thing
that
he gets
can't
out
be
of the
true.
boat.
Well, the one you just highlighted, that can't be a true statement, can it? that Ragnarok can be completed in under an hour.
No, she said it's playable in less than 1 hour.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
12,
coming
okay.
out in an hour. I said, yeah, it's going to be
Beat it in
playable.
an hour.
That can be beat in 1 hour.
Holy
Well,
shit.
Wog is coming out in less than an hour too. So, but that's different. That's a different thing.
30 minutes or less.
Yeah, there's a glitch in the fucking game. Yeah, you just avoid the whole thing. You just walk around the island or something and fucking just beat the
Speed
boss.
run.
Okay,
I
I misread her statement. The way it read to me, it was like, what do you mean it's playable in less than an hour? It's a really fucking short game.
We're keeping it short and sweet, real short.
That's right.
Talk about a lost art. I really, God damn it, man. It's just I'm an old gamer, so I was thinking about it. Like, what would a Game Genie be? It would be a fucking sheet that you plug in a USB for Christ's sake. Like, here you go, Game Genie, click. There it is. Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's some gripe people were saying because the new Ragnarok is essentially it's a little bit shorter than the first game. Personally, I'm one of the guys that would hand up like, yes. I thought the first game was fucking long enough for me. Like, to me, like, I didn't play like to 100% completion, but I played enough of it. I was like, I think by the time I finished, I might have been 40 hours in, and it was like, holy, and I still have lots of shit
we've
to
established that Noof never goes to completion. We've established it before.
That's right. I get in, I get the fuck out. That's it.
He handles himself. He gets his business taken care of.
Can't get the completion.
When you're a god, you shouldn't need to take that long.
I'm satisfied, aren't you?
Noof doesn't go to completion, and Paul can't get to completion. So
now Portal's saying it's longer. From what I've read from people in the know, and said it was shorter. There's still a lot of side quests and stuff again, but I think the main campaign part itself is probably if you just kind of stay on the story.
Yeah, the breakdown I saw was, but that that's okay if it's a good story. Like I just finished the Call of Duty thing, which took the good people 6.5 hours. Took me a lot longer because parts of that game were really difficult for me.
If
But
it's a great
even
game,
then,
you won't notice, right?
right? If you enjoy the story and it's well put together,
Yeah,
there are some games that I've done in under 5 hours, and I went, that's it.
Miles Morales was shorter than Spider-Man, but I can tell you this: I like Miles Morales.
A lot of
better than
people,
Spider-Man. Because they cut out a lot of the junky stuff that was kind of filler in Spider-Man.
To be honest, and I don't know if I've mentioned here, I have Spider-Man out there. I've tried to play it. I can't play it. The controls, I just can't do it. I want to. It's a beautiful looking game. I like the idea of it, like the story. I cannot play the game. So I don't know if they improved the controls or added accessibility to Miles Morales. We're going to check that later. But
they're saying 20 to 30 hours is what they're saying the main story is.
it took me 120 hours for the original God of War 2018 game. 120 hours.
They'll come up with Spider-Man Bubble Boy mode for you, Paul, where he just has the bubbles, he just bounces off all the
there's
buildings.
nothing wrong with that. As long as I'm not like John Travolta's Bubble Boy, I'm okay with that. You know?
It's called Developer God mode. It's the development mode. We'll give that to him.
It took me 120 hours to beat the original God of War on the 2018. And that was mainly because I started playing a drinking game with it. Every time Kratos said
That was
boy,
mainly because he sucks. Okay, I'm just.
Well, every time Kratos said boy, I took a shot.
Yeah,
And
he spent the first part of the game, the first 40 hours, he kept going to the Purple Islands.
Yeah.
Why are these fucking guys so tough?
I got one hit every time.
I always go to the Purple Islands. I've not seen Pink Islands in years. Sorry.
Remember, if it lasts more than 4 hours to go see a doctor. So, just. Wow.
It feels
All
like
right,
needles.
but obviously, Darth, you played the 2018 game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Played it to completion? Enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah. It was a great game.
Okay. Would you say it was rated definitely fairly, or would you say perhaps it was a little overrated? There are different opinions on that.
No,
obviously.
I don't think it was overrated, really. I thought it was an excellent game. I thought it was an amazing, based on my knowledge of what the original Gears of War games were. Gears of War, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
This is an Xbox guy. Yeah, I haven't had a drink or two. No. God.
Yeah,
of
so
War.
God of War 2018 was the best Gears of War he's ever played.
It was the best Gears of War. that was the wrong way. Fuck you, Paul. No, but no. God damn, that was a Freudian slip of ball. Why do you got to put them in the same goddamn context? Sons of bitches!
That's right. God of War, Gears of War. We're talking lots of GOWs tonight.
Yeah. Fucked up. Oh, anyway.
God's
no,
gear, the gonorrhea. Yay.
well, I thought for what they did with it, I thought it was really impressive. And no, the story was incredible. I very much enjoyed it.
Nice.
I couldn't beat Freya. Every time I saw her, I kept masturbating. So, well, that's
You beat the hell out of her.
well,
Just
beat
on
the hell out
yourself.
of. I beat the hell out of something that night. Yeah.
So anyway,
So Praxis, you're picking up the new one?
Actually, I was just looking it up while we were talking. I was trying to find. I'm like, oh, it's so easy to find on PS4. I don't know why. Because I do not have a PS5, unfortunately.
Oh, it's time to get on that, brother.
No.
They're becoming easier to get now.
I don't know. I
So-
got a choice to make.
so Noof, have you given your notes, and then are we gonna go to Ask Arnold here to get back on track?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to break it down real quick because we're definitely looks like the time clock on my computer actually is wrong. So I just checked in. It was like
You know,
9:14
most of
my
us
time.
have computers that automatically update. I don't know. Yeah.
Mine is stuck on 8:42. I don't know why with with my PC. It's weird.
Okay, it's a little bit later than that,
Always the
Noof.
same time.
And I'm like, why? Yeah. It's
I
it's
see
crazy.
that virus I sent you is working properly.
Yeah, every time I even go to click on the actual like time down in the corner, I get the real fucking I get the buffering wheel.
Oh,
Wow,
Jesus.
Jesus.
Wait a
fucking
minute, wait a
virus.
minute.
Wow.
I'm stuck in a time loop over here. What the
You're
fuck?
stuck in another dimension.
Chlamydia is
That's
not a
right.
virus. It's
That's right.
bacteria.
So-
Gears of War is never, or God of War is never going to release for you, dude.
No, I'm stuck. 8:42 forever. Look, I'll make it real quick. Look, I am super excited, like anybody else. I think obviously more so excited because of how good 2018 was. I never expected for the like of me when I bought 2018 version that it was going to be sort of a reinvention of the franchise that I known and love, and I love them both dearly. Like, I mean, God of War 3 was absolutely nuts in every sense of the word. But it was kind of, like I said, it was a different kind of nuts. It was more action-oriented, you know, it's more of a set-top piece. It kind of reminded me of if you had
These
a third-person
nuts.
action
I'm sorry.
game was like Call of Duty, that would have been your equivalent. You know, it was an action piece game where all the levels were just, you know, and of course it was that, you know, one thing that God of War was always known for is the camera was always sort of set, you know. Whereas on this game, it's, you know, your typical third-person over-the-shoulder action adventure style game. But that, like I said, that was a big gamble for them. It paid off in spades. What can I say? You know, the combat, well, like I said, it threw me for a loop because you start out with this big friggin' axe, and I'm like, what the hell? But, you know, obviously, if you wait long enough and you get the Blades of Chaos and you know, you listen to the story and stuff, it makes tons of sense. And that was really cool because then you start, okay, yeah, now it's clicking. You know, they had some great enemy design and stuff like that. It was a little bit repetitious in places on the first game, but overall, like I said, there were so many great moments. The dragon fight, the Baldur thing, you know, seeing Thor, the big dragon fight. There was a lot of coolly, like really cool environments. Even the loading environment when you were on that walking around that like wintry kind of thing, like that, even that was kind of cool. And that was basically setting up for the loading, but you were interacting, which was neat instead of just sitting there and watching a static screen. So I thought that was really cool. And as I said, the Mimir thing, and, you know, like I said, Atreus, you kind of hated him. By the end of the game, you kind of started to like him a little bit. And you know, you can see the evolution, an evolution of Kratos as well. Hopefully that continues in the second game. Obviously, we expect Atreus to be a little more matured by now. Certainly be able to help out more in fights. You know, they had some really cool feed-off stuff too, right? Like, you know, how you use Atreus to kind of, you know, distract or range with the bow, and it was kind of neat how they did that. But I'm super excited. Like I said, I got my copy pre-order. I'm going to pick it up in the morning. I won't get to play it till tomorrow night, and then I do have Friday off of work, which I'm excited about. So I'll be playing all day Friday, all that stuff. So, like I said, kudos to Sony Santa Monica Studios. I mean, on what looks to be another phenomenal title, flagship title, you know, and you know, and not to kind of go off topic, but it is something that the Xbox brand is sorely needing, and definitely needs to bring something similar, and most importantly, we talked about the Metacritic, and it's not the be all end all. There's lots of great games out there that don't score that well that we love and all that sort of stuff. But I think a lot of times when a game gets solid reviews, what it often does is it takes away that guesswork. Instead of being this is a might buy game, or maybe I pick it up on budget, I think a lot of people go, yeah, I'm in day one. Because that you're getting an extraordinary experience, a great story, phenomenal graphics. It's going to be worth the money for 90% of the people that pick up this game. I don't see people complaining. So, is it going to be Game of the Year this year? It's hard to say. It's going up against a very serious contender in Elden Ring, which obviously had very high scores and was well received amongst the media. But I'll say this much: I'd say a lot more people are likely to finish God of War than they were to finish Elden Ring. So my personal pick was going to be God of War simply because I have no interest in Elden Ring. It is just not my cup of tea. I've tried enough From Software games now that I've just given up. I just don't see the point. People keep saying, well, Noof, this one's a little bit different. Yeah, well, they said that with Sekiro, too, and they said it with other games, and I pick them up, I buy them, I get annihilated, and I get pissed off, and I'm getting ready to destroy controllers, and I'm sorry. An $80 game is not worth a multitude of $80 controllers. So, I just know. They're for somebody else. They're great games, just not my cup of tea. If God of War Ragnarok gets Game of the Year, I'm sure it'll be well deserved. Either which way. So, like I said, kudos to the entire team over at Santa Monica on another job well done. Can't wait to play it, and can't wait to give my feedback afterwards. Don't be a wuss, Splendiferous. Nah, the worst
real
part
quick,
is easy,
I was going to mention that as well. I actually hope that this game dethrones the Elden Ring for Game of the Year, because I couldn't play Game of the Year. Even if I could, I don't think it's a beautiful game, but I don't think it's worthy of Game of the Year for me. Yeah, right. I know.
Well, you did play Elden Ring, though, didn't you, Paul?
Yeah, I tried for about 30 hours and went, I can't do that. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. You got further than me, bro. So there you go.
So, I mean, I honestly tried. Yeah, I always, I never talk, and you'll never hear me say this game is a lousy game or whatever. I always, not for me.
Exactly. That's not fair to the game. It's not fair to you either. Like, it's, you just say you played it and tried. It's not your bag. Yeah, that doesn't mean it's shit.
A lot of my friends and stuff love Elden Ring, and they just think it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, even if I could play it, I kept going, where's the story? They said, well, you have to get further into the game to get to the story. I'm like, well, I can't get further into the game, so there's no story.
No, my games are like my movies, man. If I'm 30 minutes in and the fucking ain't gripping me, it's probably not going to.
Yep.
I put some time in Elden Ring, but and the sad thing is I know a bunch of guys that are friends of mine that all like Monster Hunter like me, and so that's kind of it's kind of a similar grind in a way that it kind of appeals to you in a different way for the challenge of the mechanics of doing things. And I mean, to put it bluntly, I've put over 1,000 hours in Monster Hunter World, so I put tons of times in a game like that. And I played Elden Ring, and I had the same experience you did. I played it for a while, and it was just could not hook me at all. No matter what I did, it was like this. I don't know. It's not enjoyable. I was like,
I'm more of a story-driven guy. I need to have a purpose for what I'm doing in a game.
I mean, even Monster Hunter, you could say it doesn't really have a story.
I tried Monster Hunter, but I was by myself, and from what I understand, it's really not.
Well, by myself, I could play the game by myself for quite a while. But yeah, it is a multiplayer experience that you go in, and after a while, what I did is I went and helped people online all the time, and you go, and that's what you do. You go hook up with people. And Elden Ring, I don't know, it didn't have the same effect. And I had people to play with me, and they're all getting into it, and they're loving it, and I was like, it was just not flying for me. I don't know why.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this looks like for me, one I'm going to be. I'll probably be trying it either tomorrow or the next day.
Awesome.
And if I start streaming it on Twitch, you'll know that I'm kind of getting into it. It's all going to depend on how the controls break down.
Funny, Porta player in the chat was asking why Salty was so quiet, and I'm like, well, you must have missed the first part of the show because he had to say on God of War.
No, sorry, I was. So I was going to comment on it because I'm a big Souls fan. Bloodborne, I beat them all. Got platinums in Demon Souls, Bloodborne, etc., etc. So Elden Ring was probably, I don't know, man. I love that game. I put so many hours into it, got the platinum, and I think I think a lot of people jumped into that thinking it was going to be something else because they had George R. Martin.
Yeah,
you know, he was doing the story and all that other stuff. But
Didn't they watch Game of Thrones for Christ's sake?
exactly. And it's just those games, you know, they have stories, but it's like very complex and confusing and not really straightforward. So with Elden Ring, I think it did very, very well for me, for example.
You're calling me stupid, Salty? No, kid, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, but I just think that they hit it out the park, and I think it's going to be difficult for God of War Ragnarok to dethrone that game, but I think we're going to kind of have history repeat itself because Elden Ring had it was a multi-plat, so, Red Dead Redemption 2 had the higher Metacritic score, right. And that's the same thing with Elden Ring. I think that we might see the same thing, and that'd be crazy, but as far as, like, which game I want to play, obviously I haven't played God of War Ragnarok, so I can't really say. Yeah. But Elden Ring at the time when I was playing it, I was like, man, because God of War 2018 was my favorite game of all time. But after I played that, I was like, they're neck and neck now, Elden Ring and God of War for me,
I will say for Game of the Year thing, God of War has one thing going for it, though. It's later in the year, and it's usually the games later in the year that get the bigger votes because it's the one that's more fresh on people's minds.
Well, here's the thing that I think all you guys are neglecting here. With something that happened with Elden Ring that I don't know will happen with God of War. I would venture to say that this game, God of War Ragnarok, is maybe geared towards mid to late 20s, 30s onward gamers. My kid has no vested interest in playing this game. Whereas with Elden Ring, because it became such a huge Twitch phenomenon, such a huge YouTube phenomenon, all these kids, like 11-year-old kids, these Fortnite kids, what I call them, my kid being one of them, they started getting interested in this game because he's like, Dad, can I get Elden Ring? I'm like, what the fuck are you want Elden Ring for? You've never wanted any type of Souls games before. He's like, nah, everyone's playing it. We got to play it.
Right.
And I think that is what's going to push Elden Ring over the edge was that, mass market permeation.
Because people may see this new game for what it looks like, and even younger guys are going to go, hey, this looks cool. I want to play this. The fighting just looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, the only downside to all this is the fact that now that God of War is out and getting crushing Metacritic scores, and Elden Ring has great scores, I think poor old Horizon Forbidden West again gets shoved right off the shaft.
Gets shanked. Yeah, gets shanked back there. Yeah.
That's like that year it came out too. It was Horizon Zero Dawn came out and it had to go up against Zelda. And Zelda, of course, got so many friggin' reviews that Horizon just got like thrown right off.
Horizon got thrown into the background really quick. Yeah. It was kind of
Even though I would take that game over Zelda any day of the week. But yeah.
It's true. It took me a little bit to get into that Horizon Forbidden West, but when I did, it was amazing. But yeah, it's crazy. It's been such a wild year. It doesn't even feel like those games came out this year. It's been so long ago,
That's exactly right. Yeah, you have to remember, that was this year. Holy crap.
And don't forget, and don't forget, this year's not done. Like, as a teacher, when I had a couple of kids were coming in who was like, "Are you excited?" Like earlier this month, they were like, "Are you excited? The big games coming out this month?" And I'm thinking God of War. They were thinking about Modern Warfare 2, and then another set of a group of kids were talking. They're more excited about Pokemon. They don't even know there's a new Pokemon coming out that's supposed to be like the next things in sliced fucking bread, right? And they're talking. That's the buzz in the schools, not God of War. And here I am just thinking, I'm looking forward to God of War. I don't have no fucking interest in Pokemon. But it's just really interesting to see the dichotomy and of what we are. We're into this game, but I think apart from our little echo chamber, I don't know how mass market successful it's going to be. Yeah. That's what I'm questioning. So. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm waiting for too. Is okay with the general reviews that are out early are good. Let's see what the actual user reviews say. But I think it's going to do very well. I think it's going to do extremely well.
User reviews to me are it kind of goes both ways because you got a lot of people who obviously loved the game and given an extra high score, but then you also got that faction of real dipshits out there that just, like I said, they
like you said, it works both ways. So if I do look at review sites like
I think
Metacritic
there
and
shouldn't
stuff,
be a like
Yeah,
if the reviewers across the board, if the game comes across say in the Metacritic 90, 92, 94, then I think the user reviews should be somewhat reflective. They should be closer. Like when you got a major gap of 90 meta and then a user is like 60, like something don't add up. You know what I mean?
well, that can go
somebody's
both
telling you
ways
shit.
too. Some of the reviewers and I'm don't misrepresent. Some of the reviewers may be a little tilt. They're players too. Some of them may be tilted one way or the other as well. So you kind of have to read them and kind of try to read between the lines. Are they fanboying it? Are they hating it? Or is there some truth in here somewhere? That's the way I look at those things. Why are they talking it down? Why are they talking it up?
Yeah. I love 2018 God of War, so that's why the reviews to me feel kind of accurate, because I really loved the first game and felt that the review scores that it got were very, like, to me, they
Right.
felt accurate of my experience. So that's why I feel like this one's getting now, I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see how it's getting the scores. Whether you agree with me or not, I guess it depends on your perception of the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough with all the movies and video games with all the people that review bomb. It's tough to like weed through that and figure out what's actually happening.
That's the hard part is, especially for review bombing. Why are you talking this down? It's like when you when you look at the Amazon review and it gives it 1 star because the package was dented when I got it, so 1 star. Stop it.
Like that new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I can tell you, I'm playing through that campaign, and that doesn't seem like a campaign that would be getting a 6. Like, that's just like, yeah, I get it. Call of Duties haven't tread a ton of new ground for years per se, but what is there is pretty damn impressive. You know what I mean? So
parts of that campaign were actually really cool. I thought they were, some of the mechanics, even though I was cussing at them on my stream at the time, were very well thought out and done. I thought, well, this is cool. Once I got past it, I was like, okay, this is really cool. There are some things they could do better, but from the story point of view, it was really an interesting way to go about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, guys, we're just, like I said, a few hours away from God of War Ragnarok coming out and hitting the masses. Looking forward to finding out how everybody feels about it in my circle. I'll definitely be checking back in with Salty as he gets his hands deep into the game. But enough about that. We're going to move right along. We're going to do Ask Arnold real quick. Only 2 or 3 questions. Try to pound them out and then move on to the next topic. So for anybody in the chat or those of you here on the panel, if you have a question, please feel free to drop it right now. And again, shout out to all the chat. Like I said, we got a great crew up in here tonight. Splendiferous hanging out with us tonight. Spider-Man 356, Portal Player, Captain Ply, AB, what's going on? A lot of awesome people there. Phasma, the Spider-Man 356 still with us.
Did you
Vic
get
the
Royal
Click.
Boyle? Did you say Royal Boyle?
I did get Royal Boyle. Vic the Click is here, or some of you guys like to call him
Vic the Clit.
Clit.
Vic the Clit. Yeah, Vic the Clit. Yeah.
He's gonna have a shirt made with that now.
Okay, so Arnold, if you were to fight
Go ahead.
Kratos, do you think it would be a fair fight?
No, what do you think, that I'm an idiot? He's going to kick my ass. He's going to pound the shit. He's a god. I am just a mortal. But, maybe I'll stand a chance if I put on my Conan the Barbarian loincloths again. Especially at my age, I don't think Kratos wants to see that. He'd be like, boy, that looks nasty on you. Get the hell out of here. Don't touch your saggy ass anymore. No. Absolutely. But no, it's great. Looking forward to the game. He looks amazing. He's got a very sexy bald head. Maybe if it was in my younger days, I could have been Kratos. The only problem is I don't know if anybody would have bought my accent.
That would have been freaking...
Could you imagine me doing that? Can you imagine me acting as Kratos with my accent and trying to pronounce shit?
especially back in the days of Conan and shit.
Might struggle with
I'd
that.
be like, come over here, Festus. I'm going to break your balls. Come on, do it. Grab your hammer. Hey, Mamiya, shut the fuck up. You're annoying me. Alrighty. Next question. Anybody?
Anyone? Bueller.
Anybody in the chat got a question for Arnold? Now's the time. You should have had them ready. You guys know this segment comes up every week. You should have these things pre-planned, right?
Well, I got one.
ahead, Wise.
We're talking about God of War, but we're forgetting tonight is election night. So Arnold, if you were going to run this year, who would be your running mate? Darth Praxis, Cerebral Paul, or Sir X-Men, and why?
That is a great question, but election, whatever, it's all the same to me. It's all a bunch of bullshit. You know, I've been in politics. I know all the scummy crap that goes on behind the scenes. So speaking of scum, of course, I'd have to get Cerebral Paul. He would have to be my wingman. He could roll right into every press conference. That's it. You know, he speaks for the young. He speaks for the old. He speaks for the disabled. He speaks for so many people. And he still speaks a bunch of nonsense. So it sounds like politics to me.
Wow.
Look, he complimented you and insulted you all the same time.
I know.
Arnold,
that's the politician side. That's the politician side right there.
Yeah, at
Best
least
speech Arnold ever had.
he just doesn't leave the money on the counter. He kisses you on the cheek before he leaves. So.
That's right. Yeah.
Alrighty. We do have one question coming in from Sir X-Man in the chat. All right, there he goes.
Who do you want?
Somebody else want to read it?
Hey, Arnold, do you think God of War scores are inflated because of how close it is to the Game Awards?
Of course they're inflated. They're always inflated. Everything's inflated. Your ego's inflated. Probably your wife's tits are inflated. Balloons are inflated. Everything out there is inflated. Who cares? All you need to know is you're going to play the game. You're going to enjoy it. Maybe your balls will be inflated when you're sitting in your chair for so long that they get hot and sweaty and stick onto your leg. Or maybe they stick onto your bald head. Who knows? Who cares? All I can tell you is God of War comes out in a couple hours. I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be up to my ass in God Kratos. That's what we're going to do. Yes, I have a donkey, by the way, yes. But it's going to be amazing. Can't wait for the game. Yes, of course. Who cares about the reviews? I mean, my movies always got fucking pretty terrible reviews. Did it stop all you bum asses from coming out there and filling the seats? No, because you wanted to come out there and see me so I could say things like, rubber baby bubby bunkers, whatever the fuck that is. You know what I mean? So, yes, that's what you're going to do there.
Last Action Hero was my favorite. You're the best.
Alrighty. Let's move right along. Speaking of GOWs, like I said earlier, kind of big news, I suppose, especially if you happen to be a fan of Gears of War. It's been all over Twitter. It looks like after years in the waiting, Gears of War is finally getting some love, but it comes from Netflix, surprisingly, as it looks like they're going to be making a live-action movie and an animated series to go along with it. As a Gears of War fan, this was huge news for me. I'm super excited. I just canceled my Netflix subscription again. I'm like, damn, I guess I'm going to have to get it again now, you buggers. There you go, always baiting
That's
you
why
back
they did
in,
it.
right?
That's why they did it. They saw and Noob canceled. Let's do it now.
You've canceled. Gotta get him back in somehow. We do it with his favorite game, right? So, how do you guys feel about the news? Are you excited for it? And I guess, you know, the theoretical thing's been going around all day is everybody's like, who should you cast? I have my cast that I kind of have two, because I have... See, everybody thinks that Gears, and they think the guys need to be giant, like really bulky and muscular. I don't think so. I personally think you can have great casting without having that everybody's built like, obviously, Dave Bautista. I mean, I think with the Gears guys, their suits are largely large. They don't necessarily have to be large guys themselves. Now, mind you, shouldn't be like really scrawny either. You wouldn't want to have someone like, you know, the size of a fucking pencil, but... You know,
I don't know. I want to see Kevin Hart as Coltrane. I'm just saying.
Coltrane.
Isn't he small enough to play a ticker?
Yeah.
He crawls around the ground, blows up. Hey guys, hey, look at me. Who wants to take it away? I'll take it last, but the floor is anybody's here.
Oh, I'll just say I'm looking forward to it. You know, Netflix is like when they do something, they do it well, but then they end up canceling it after like 3 seasons. So
right.
we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm more looking forward to the live action. You know, when they say animated, is it going to be true animated, or is it going to be the 3D animated like we have for like?
I think it's going to be CGI animated.
CGI animated,
That's
yeah,
what
I think
I'm
so
thinking.
too. I think, and which I think will keep more people drawn in than if they go to, you know, just please don't let them go to the anime version of Gears of War. Because when they do that to characters and all of a sudden they look really weird, and you're like, this is really, really odd.
Yeah.
So I think if they take it the way of like even the way some of the Star Wars animated stuff has worked out, because that stuff tends to work out pretty well. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Just curious, Paul, then, why do you think they picked Netflix? Do you think Netflix reached out, or perhaps someone at the Xbox maybe reached out and proposed the idea? I mean, if you guys remember from a few years ago, and I thought this was surprising, that before Rod Ferguson had left the coalition, they were in talks with, it seemed like it wasn't Netflix. I know it was one of the major studios on a Gears movie. We've heard for years, actually, even after I think it was by the time Gears of War 3 was out, that there was talks of a movie, and then everything just kind of fell apart. They lost directors. I think they lost writers. Like, everything just kept falling. We saw this with a lot of video game franchises. The Uncharted, took years to finally get off the ground. Same thing's kind of happening here. But why do you think Netflix?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix reached out to them. Netflix, because they lost the Marvel properties and they've canceled a bunch of other properties, are realizing, hey, we need some new content to get some eyes back over here. They are bleeding membership.
Netflix has a Horizon Zero Dawn show coming too, do they not?
I believe so, yeah. But I think that's part of. But I still think that's part of the same thing. They know that they're bleeding memberships. They have to have a reason. Because there's only so many of us, and so many times you can watch old TV shows. It's like, I'm sorry, but, because that seems to be their bread and butter. And where they used to be the only game in town, now they all have a game in town. Mm-hmm. Be it, HBO Max or whatever, So Netflix needs to have original material. So I would not be surprised if Netflix said, hey, that's right, we were talking to these guys a couple years ago. Let's see if they're still interested in doing something.
Well, there's a lot of excitement around video game properties, as Royal Boyle said.
After Halo did well too, so
Halo did well. Obviously, as Royal Boyle says, God of War is getting made on Amazon. Horizon is getting made on obviously on Netflix. So obviously, and now with and there's a lot of buzz around this one, the Last of Us show, which is coming to HBO. So there's a ton of buzz around game properties these days. A bit of a resurgence. And certainly when it comes to casting, we know that Dave Bautista has made it openly clear that he wants to play Marcus Phoenix, and oddly enough, he actually did play Marcus Phoenix, if you guys remember. Or he had a character at least. In the Gears of War game. So.
Oh yeah, so he wants to do it really bad, so they'll probably cast somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm right here with you. Just like Nathan Fillion. Hey guys,
exactly
I want to be Nathan Drake. I was meant for the role. Oh no, let's give it to the younger guy that looks and acts nothing like the character.
Yeah, we need a voice actor for Mario. Let's see, Chris Pratt. Let's pick Chris Pratt.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Like, that's right off the bat. These studios have no respect for the real gaming community, because how can you fucking go out and make it so reverse than what the game characters have been for years?
They want that name recognition to draw people in. Which
if that be the case,
to Bautista's advantage, he definitely will have that.
Oh, he's got the look. He's got the physique. I mean, can you get much better perfect, really, if you think about it? So if that's going to be the case, you guys are worried about the hip and the hop and the now. I mean, why not make the next Spider-Man? Why don't he be fat? Why don't he be just a big old fat guy? They got every other kind of character. It's kind of a good question, though, right?
Fat Spider-Man sitting in a chair using his web slinger to bring the donuts to him.
Get over here! He doesn't swing around the top of buildings anymore. He just sticks onto the side of it 3 feet up off the ground. That's enough.
He gets up from his recliner and he starts going, "Oh, let's go."
Oh my god! But Phasma's like, I dig it. Sorry, man, to cut you up, but keep going.
No, I think if they do the story well, and this is going to sound really weird, but they better pick the right actor for Dom. It's like because we know what happens to poor Dom. So,
see, if you're just going, I'll get to it when I get to my part, but
they, to me, they need to be able to pull out that emotional side of the game as well as the action side.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's part of why I prefer Gears of War to even Halo and stuff, because I was more, I learned more quickly to care for the characters.
Yeah.
Because they had personalities, they had relationships, they had histories, and they talked about it in the game, so you knew, you know.
Oh, dude,
That-
they laid the foundation of that with
Yeah.
the first fucking trailer when they had
Yeah.
Mad World playing, and you see everything
Yeah.
coming apart, and the character looks like he gets killed basically at the end of the trailer. Like, what the fuck is this game?
Well, thank
No,
God we don't have to worry about Marcus's fucking helmet coming off.
Yeah.
I guess he'll take his do-rag off every 5 seconds, right? I'm not wearing that do-rag anymore. Yeah. Yeah,
there's
maybe
so
we'll
much
just see
sex
Marcus
scenes.
Phoenix's fucking ass for half the
Yeah.
fucking show. Well, he's gonna have love with a berserker,
Yeah.
right? I heard she's a female, horny blind female. Don't even hear shit. Arr.
Wow. I had a thought. I had a thought. It's gone now. It's gone now. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Maybe in the movie or the show, they will go back to the beginning. I forget what the name of the.
They should
event
go right
was
back
called.
to the Pendulum Wars when they
Well,
kind of start out.
even the impetus of the attack.
Yeah.
What was the event that we get?
The emergence day.
Emergence
The
day?
emergence day, yeah. Because the games have never gone there, but we know, it'd be nice to see it in some form.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's just say, like, the universe sets itself up for a great show. The only way they can fuck it up is if they don't pay homage to the content. Now, I heard the Coalition, again, will be at least, producing or helping with the show at some point, but that doesn't hold a lot of weight either, because so did 343 with the fucking show with Halo, and like that shit's gone off the rails in so many. I mean, I still like it, don't get me wrong, but it's still kind of gone off the rails in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if it's
yeah,
all-
and I don't have a problem with them differing, because I'm usually okay with the different quote universe, different story, as long as it's done well. Because I being a comic book fan, I had to wrap my head around that a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
I actually hope they do something a little bit different, because like I've already played the story of Gears of War, so I know what's going to happen. So if it's just a retelling in CG form, then I think it would be a little bit diminished for me. So if they put a couple of other wrinkles in it that I'm not expecting, I think that would make the show a little bit better, actually.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I
one
heard
thing
they're on a tight
just,
budget, and instead of having Lancers, they're just going to have Husqvarna chainsaws.
I do think that just like with Halo, because we aren't just going to be running from battle to battle to battle, they'll have to flesh out some backstory and do some stuff there.
They gotta have good. It's like anything. You gotta have you gotta have good characters, and I think the big one is, again, bring in General Rom, because he's still the best villain as far as I'm concerned in the Gears universe.
Yep.
Like when he made his first appearance in Gears 1, that's what I'm saying. That was a memorable game. Everybody remembers the first time you saw Rom, the first time he fucking stabbed Kim on that knife, and he held him up in the air just like he was a little twig. And we remember the Krill and how menacing they were when the fucking lights went out. That was like some perfect, what do you call it? It was like that Chronicles of Riddick movie, Pitch Black or whatever. Those things are coming out and eating you, and like, holy shit. Like that, the first Gears, like it's a tough act to follow. It never really did live up to that game, in my opinion.
Well, and that's why I'm saying, for a movie form, storytelling purposes, I would love them to open with Emergence Day. Let's do the first whatever part of the movie. Show us some really wild shit, that has been talked about, but let us see it.
I gotta get this product tie-in, though. Gears of War, brought to you by Stills Chainsaws.
Shit.
Oh, yep. Yeah, that'll work. or what? Now, Craftsman doesn't exist anymore, do they? Since
they
Sears
do.
went
Yeah,
away.
they're just
Do
owned
they-
by
do they
Lowe's.
just- Yeah, they're Lowe's now. Yeah.
Salty, how about yourself, man? What's your take? You excited at all? I mean, I can't remember how you feel about the Gears of War franchise, but obviously, if you're a fan at all, even if you're a small fan, I'm sure this is still pretty good news. It's nice to see a franchise. I mean, you obviously have to have some weight as a franchise to be getting a show. Like, it's not like you're just some unknown property. And like I said, I think the content lends itself to a really good show if they do it properly. So how do you feel about it all?
Oh, I think we killed Salty.
Damn it, Salty, come back to us.
Okay, guess we'll have to come
Go
back
get
to
away
Salty.
from the light. Get away
He
from
may
the
have
light.
fell asleep or went off to take a shit. I don't know,
Get
but
away from the light.
These things happen.
Darth
All the-
Praxis, how about you, man? How do you feel about the show coming out? I think that's pretty. And two, a movie and a animated show.
Well, I would say with any property right now, I'm dubiously. I guess I don't know. I'm not very excited about most properties.
Cautiously
right
optimistic.
No, not even. I'm pessimistic. Actually, I'm not looking at these things from an optimistic standpoint. I think they've gone and screwed so many things up because the kind of quote unquote talent that they keep hiring just don't seem to be able to find their ass with both hands. And when they get these properties, you get them in a room and then they start talking to each other and it comes out, oh, we really hate the property. We really just wanted to tell our own story, but we're going to use this because it's our platform to use it on. And that's what drives me crazy. I want to see people that care about it make these things.
Okay,
That's
we're going to make Marcus Phoenix a girl and we need a little robot sidekick.
Yeah,
and,
it's not even the girl thing. It's just
and a talking dog. We got to have a talking dog now. So.
Well, it seems like they want to do something that has nothing to do with the show, and they have no respect for the original anything original, and they just want to do whatever they want to do. And if they want to do that, make their own thing. But you know, pay service to the fans that actually care and paid for it to even be successful, and do something we want to see. That's what I'm more interested in.
And make sure some of your writers actually played the fucking game, okay?
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
That's kind of an issue.
It always amazes me too because they have so many there's so much talent out there that they could draw from, and so much like for the fact that Karen Travis has written several great Gears books. Like you'd think you'd just bring in someone like this to help write with help with the scripts or keep things on point. The first thing I would be doing, if they were okay with it, I'd bring in a guy like Cliffy B as a consultant because he's very. He's the originator. He's one of the guys who created the universe. And, I'm pretty sure he could kind of, as they're going, say, no, that's not really overly accurate there, guys. I mean, if the coalition's okay with that, because, it's their property now, but still, you can't ignore the original, and he was a big proprietor. So, I would have Cliff on the sidelines as a consultant in some which way to make sure, like I said, because he is the kind of guy to say, no man, the fans ain't going to dig that. That's horseshit. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to keep it in the universe. You got to keep it in context to what occurs. You have to understand it enough to know what is in the universe and what works in it. The gears of the universe. What actually makes it function? What actually makes it work with the people? And it doesn't take that much. If you're a fan, you know what it does.
Yeah, but
I say that
like
because
with anything, there's a fine line between what works in a game may not work on screen, and so you have to find that balancing act.
Well, there is that, but when they change things outright or they abandon things completely, that you're like, why are you doing that? That's not anything to do with it. Or change it. Yeah, you make it stupid. Just put it into perspective, and this pretty much kind of this will end my conversation with it basically, but. Anyone that gets put in charge of a property needs to take it and look at it from the standpoint that Peter Jackson looked at Lord of the fucking Rings. Mm-hmm. That's what they need to do. They need to have respect and honor what was there and understand it. He understood it. Yes. He knew it. And then he took it very seriously and presented it in the best way possible. And he made one of the most amazing trilogies ever made.
But at the same time, he has his critics too that thought he totally destroyed it.
Well, and there again comes the problem with how do you adapt something so huge and nebulous and complex as that, and
adapting
make it into
a book
film.
is always hard.
Oh, and he made it look amazing, and I knew people that had read it more than me, and I'd read it, but they knew it. Yeah. And they were like, oh, this is missing and this is missing. I was in the theater in Fellowship of the Ring. And when it finished, I was like, so what did you think? They're like, oh, my God, it was fucking amazing. I was like, but it missed this. He's like, no. It didn't matter that he missed it. He got the fucking heart right. He knew what it was about.
The one of the biggest complaints was there's no Tom Bum, but who cares?
Yeah, who fucking cares?
Yeah. It would have been cool to see,
doing everything.
It wasn't part of the main story.
Well, and the extended editions did everything he could to try to make people happy even more, and made the films even more crazy amazing. That's incredible. But anyway,
it's no secret that the best movies and the best adaptations come from the people that make it, who either know the content inside and out, or they're huge fans and they want to do it right. You know, if you even look at the Spider-Man movies, I'm talking the Tobey Maguire ones. Sam Raimi was a huge Spider-Man fan.
Oh yeah.
Came with a massive amount of pressure to produce great movies here. And a lot of people had question marks. And guess what? First two movies were massive successes, right? Guess what happened in the third one when the studio got involved and to try to make, when they took creative control away from Raimi and they turned that one into a shit show, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what happens. These guys need to sit back, pay the bills, and let the creators do the work. Same thing with Zack Snyder. Look at the difference in Zack Snyder's Justice League. When the man actually got to come back after the unfortunate death of his daughter and create the movie that he wanted to make, and it was way better. It was hands down. Because the man is passionate about his movies, and he loves the DC universe. And by God, Superman's coming back, baby. Henry Cavill. Fuck yeah.
Oh my
Woo!
God.
I had a boner now for weeks after hearing that shit. Fucking awesome.
And it goes both ways, right? Even with video games, like
His boner. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Well,
it goes in one way, not the other. All right. But anyhow, with Spider-Man, like if you look at all the other Spider-Mans that were released, there was a couple of good ones in general. But like if you saw when you played Insomniac Spider-Man, you saw that there was a genuine love for the character and the franchise, and they didn't want to, dumb it down. They didn't want to recreate the whole Uncle Ben dying story and all that other shit. They people who made the game had a passion, and it shows through. So in any genre, whoever is behind the scenes making anything, whether it's a game, whether it's a movie, or hell, when it's even a book, there has to be a certain amount of passion in it. And that's one thing I'm worried about, because as you said earlier, like all these right now, gaming properties are a hot commodity right now. Studios are snatching it up. But unfortunately, a lot of these studios are making these movies or shows, and the writers, the directors, the producers, they just don't have the passion or love for it. I mean, look at freaking Rings of Power. I mean, it's just a shit show, And
it's a
I don't know. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it for what it is, but
Yeah, it shits on everything that came before is my problem. It really does bug me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. God of War comes out 5 minutes, so I'm out of here.
All right, man. I wonder what happened to you. Everybody
Oh my
asked you on this one, and,
we asked you about your thought on the Gears movie and show, and you didn't say anything.
I had to go to the bathroom, shit, but I am so excited. Thanks for having me on, though.
He's dropping a bomb before he plays the bomb. So there you go, man. Well, Salty, go enjoy it, my friend. Thanks for coming out and being a part of the show tonight. It was great to hear your input and insight. Can't wait to catch up with you and talk about God of War as you play it and complete it and all that good stuff. So take care, man. I'll let people know what's happening for you next. I'm guessing you'll have a pretty big show on Thursday night.
Yeah, big show, and then hopefully get a video out tomorrow. Depends on how late I stay up. We'll see.
All right,
If I can do 25 hours, you can do 24.
Right,
Come on,
that's
Salty.
right.
You're a lot younger than me.
All right, fellas.
Take care,
I'm out.
Salty. Have a good night, brother.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Make sure you check out the Salty's Gamer podcast on Thursday. I'm sure he will have a lot of insight and into the game and what he's thinking of the game as he plays it and goes along. Anyway, back to the Gears topic before we kind of wrap up the show here. Where were we?
Good question.
I think Darth was talking about something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. I know you listen to me sometimes.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Something?
He's just ignoring you. He's just ignoring me, so he's by default listening to you. That's why. So.
It's pretty true, actually. Yeah.
Oh, my.
But anyhow, yeah, this game, this movie, this show, if they do it right, will be pretty good. The main thing is everyone's cautiously optimistic about all these things. I mean, as good as Last of Us looks on the previews, I have to wait and reserve judgment because again, I can't see Bella Ramsey as Ellie. And I don't see Pedro Pascal as Joe. I'm sorry. I mean, it looked good, but that's not my Joe. That's not my Ellie. I'm sorry. That big old forehead just gets in the way. I'm sorry, but
Okay. Well, now you're just being obnoxious. Okay.
that's a big ass forehead. I am sorry. I mean, that's a big
I think that show is going to be easier to pull off than Gears, though, just because the set pieces are kind of more set in the here and the now. You just gotta keep that creepiness with with that show, and of course stay true to the character. Really,
The problem that show may have is everybody's going to draw comparisons to like the show that ran forever, The
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whether it deserves it or not, it's going to be compared to The Walking Dead.
Of course. Yep.
Can't they
Well, The
CG
Walking Dead was doing great until they basically just got stagnant. Again, this is where the writing becomes crucial in the later seasons. Is that because I love The Walking Dead, but man, I fell off after season 6 or whatever the hell it was.
Well, because what happened? They at that point they ran out of source material, basically.
The graphic novels only go so far. The funny thing, they did change a lot of stuff from the graphic novels to extend it even. They did a lot of extending. Because I read the graphic novels and I saw a whole bunch of things happening. I'm like, that character, why are they still alive? That character died in the second book.
They did a lot of that.
What is going on with that?
But at the same point, they kept a lot of the stuff from the graphic novels as far as the story strings and
there's another thing
and stuff like that. They kept those going.
There's another thing that Hollywood needs. They need to know when to stop. Sometimes they just go on forever, and that's one thing I think not the BBC per se, but British television in the past and up to a certain point realized, and I think it was brilliant.
They still do it. They still do it, dude. They
do limited series and they stop.
Here's a series. Here's 6 episodes. Okay, you're done for a year.
Yeah, my favorite television show of all time, oddly enough, is an old show from 1967 called The Prisoner. And it's with Patrick McGoohan. It's probably one of the best shows ever, and it's a bizarre psychedelic spy show. And
the leg bones connected to the
that was the last episode.
That was the last episode. Yeah, I know.
But Patrick McGoohan, he was famous for making a show, and this kind of gives a thing about somebody who has a passion about something.
That's because he was number 7.
Well, Secret Agent Man. He was Danger Man or Secret Agent Man, and he had a successful television run.
They wanted information.
They wanted him to play James Bond, the actor originally.
You're missing my cues.
I know all your damn cues. I know them. God damn it! I'm ignoring it.
He knows your P's and your Q's.
Yes, he does, and he could shove them right up his ass.
Come on, the Rover was cool. Okay, the Rover was cool. I gotta say.
Oh God, yeah, the weather.
For 1967, the Rover thing was awesome.
But the point is, Patrick McGoohan. It was something he wanted to do because he had a very strong, independent mindset about just living life, and he ghost wrote the whole series. Basically, it was his series. He created it, and a lot of people took credit.
There was acid involved. There had to be. Okay, but I'm just saying.
He made the show, and he made it 17 episodes, and that was it. Yep. And the studios were pissed at him because they're like, "We need to syndicate this. We need to make this a series." And he's like, "No, it's only this because I'm telling a story, and that's the end." And I prefer that sometimes.
Oh, look at what they did with Sherlock. Sherlock was painful because it was 3 episodes and we're done for a year. 3 episodes.
Yeah, but they were an hour and a half each, though. They were a mini movie. So, I mean,
even today, I would like more Sherlock. We're never going to get more Sherlock.
Oh no, that show is also a fucking amazing show. Great show. Yeah. Luther is another show like that that's excellent and very short. Yeah.
What was the Hyde was pretty well done too.
Yeah,
the Jekyll and Hyde story.
But there's lots of it. I like that concept. Anyway.
Yeah, we watch a lot of I watch a lot of UK stuff. Our UK friends are impressed with how much I know about their television.
Anyway, let's get back to the conversation here. We're off on another tangent. And we got to get Wize Old Gamer's thoughts on this, of course, as well. What you expect to see from the series and how can they do the franchise justice?
Well, again, as I said it earlier, I mean, I wish that they stick to the general overarching themes, and as you say, they keep the character of the story or the heart of the story intact. But I wish they do change up some details because what I hate the most is watching another retelling of a game that I've already played. I already know the story. I know what's going to happen. So it would not enthrall me as much as if they did a couple of things different than the games, and I think they should. I would love to watch Emergent State, on the ground floor, what it meant for day-to-day people when that thing actually happened. That's
a great place to start.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
but telling the origin story again, like that's where it always gets tricky, right? Because us as gamers, yeah, we're saying, yeah, like we've been there, done that, but you got to remember that the show also still has to appeal to an audience of television goers who aren't familiar with the games whatsoever. You know, so
Right.
that's always where it gets tricky. That's why some of the superhero movies constantly go back to the original source, because again, they're trying to appeal to a new generation of audience that is not familiar with the comics or other source material.
Yeah, I think they could approach it in a different way because of the medium. It's different. I think they can flesh out things, and they don't have to go exactly beat for beat like the game, and still do the similar things that happen in the game, so that people can feel like, oh my god, I remember this part. Oh my god, this is what's happening. But they don't have to approach it in such a way that they telegraph it to where it almost surprises people. Like, oh shit, this is what's happening. That would be the way you approach
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm wanting.
And one things I liked about Halo from the get go was the first time you hear his shields wind up, and you go, okay, now we're doing Halo, because all of us know that sound so well. It's so much ingrained in our gameplay that as soon as, even though you can't visually see it really on the screen, you know what's going on. You know.
And see,
So,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know why Halo got so much grief that it did, because I thought, as a person who's played all the Halo games, I actually enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed the fact that they didn't take more core to
So
it.
many people got tied into he should never take his helmet off, blah blah blah. And I've always from this even.
So he never had it on, right?
Noof knows this on Good Morning Xbox. You know, it was all he should never take it off or this. I'm like, they cannot tell a story that just does what the game does, which is go from fight to fight to fight to fight. They have to show him decompressing. They have to show him sitting around.
And I
with the
agree,
other
but
guys.
How the fuck does
then
a
it got
bastard
a
take
little
a
too
shit?
silly though, Paul. Then it got to the
Well,
point
no,
where it
I'm
felt like you
yeah,
barely
but I'm
had it
saying,
on at all.
but I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying in general. You know,
Yeah, I
even
get
I
it,
thought
yes.
it was silly when we're going into a hot zone. So he rides the car in the car or whatever with the helmet on. As soon as they step on the ground, he takes his helmet off. Really? You know.
Can
Should
I-
be the vice versa, right?
I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't watched it, but you were okay with the end then?
Of Halo. I mean, for going into the next, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I think for going into the next season, I think it's fine.
You know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. It lost me there, dude. It lost me all the way early, but I saw that and was like, yeah, I'll never watch this again. I'm
Well,
done.
that's fine, but part of it is too. All these shows when they do this, they want to, even though you want to give it fan service, you want to attract viewers outside of the fan base as well. If you don't, then it's probably not gonna do well in general. You wanna get a bigger group involved. Like I mean, look at with Firefly, and then they did the movie Serenity.
Yep.
Well, the problem is Serenity is a great movie, but if you're not a fan of the show, which totally got screwed up by Fox, then Serenity didn't do as well as it would have if it would have had a bigger.
Well, yeah,
drawing.
of course. Serenity was like the end if that was like
Right.
a 10 season series.
Right.
That would have been, or even a
Yep.
6-season series. That would have been an excellent end to it. But yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
But it's the same idea of you have a limited fan base. So
but
it's,
in the first season, they did a Serenity. That's my point.
well, yeah. We'll see where they're going to go. They actually have a lot of you. Well, no, you and I both know they have a lot of Halo to play with. You know,
Yeah, but Master Chief is what I'm talking about. Anyway, never mind.
but they could even go back and do like a quote prequel or whatever. Who knows? You know, because we did kind of come
Anyway,
into the middle of the
And
story.
I'll go back to Wize Old Gamers.
I have nothing more to add. I mean, I'm just listening to these two go back and forth. over
Okay,
fucking
no, it's
Halo,
been
so.
kind of crazy. It's been one of those nights, but hey, it's all good.
damn it.
Tell us,
Sorry.
Ray, in the chat, what's going on, brother? Good to see you here. We got a great crew again tonight watching the show. I greatly appreciate everybody coming out and showing your support. So it's good stuff. I guess a lot of people are taking off now. Like I said, they're going to play God of War. It's looking like I'm looking at the Twitter feeds. It's launching here, and everybody
Some
looks
of them,
like
in,
it's
some of them in
sharing
the
already.
states are looking at the election results and going, "We're fucked. I'm going to go get drunk."
That
Exactly.
too, yeah. So, you know, anything further to add? I'll add my 2 cents. Anybody have anything further to add?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say this. I'm excited for the show. A lot of it, again, comes down to staying true to the source material. The first person, again, with any of these shows, is you have to pay homage to the actual fans, not trying to. You don't want to spend more energy trying to get new people into the series. You have to please your fan base first. That's first and foremost. You have to try. You can't please everyone. We know that. That's fact of life. Doesn't matter how good. You're just not going to please everybody. But you have to stay true to the source material. Second, you got to cast it right. Because again, if the characters do not look, they don't necessarily have the sound, but they have to be somewhat close to their source material, right? Yes. So that you have to try to get them as close as you can. And again, when you've got notable actors out there, hence Dave Bautista, who's made it very clear that he was born to play the role, he wants to play the role. The Coalition's already had him basically, like I said, play the role in the game and be digitized and immortalized in Gears 5. And then not put him in there would be a crying shame, unless he has other obligations and can't make it. Obviously, it's a series, and we see how that works too. Sometimes, like a Henry Cavill, he's had to back out of The Witcher. But stay true to the source material. Get the settings and scenery right as well. Like obviously the Lanter's got to be front row and center because that's a staple landmark piece for the franchise. I think one of the things that makes Gears special is kind of dark, kind of gritty. Especially the initial couple of games were very mature in the way they were presented, almost borderline action horror to some degree. So they need to keep a little bit of that there as well. And again, great action set pieces. They're going to need top-notch special effects, which I'm sure they will have. All of the above. And if they stay true to the source material, they have good writing, that either, they have to figure out that this series might have enough legs for 4 or 5 seasons. I think that's the foresight. You kind of got to know, like you said, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You can't drag a series out and kill it the other way. Sometimes it's better just to do your 3 or 4 seasons and say, that's it. That's really all we got. We got to tell a different story because there's really nothing more. But, if you're 3 or 4 games in, technically you should be able to draw from enough source material from those games where you could make stories based around stuff that happened in the game, or perhaps even go to some of the book material and do it that way. I'm surprised, like with the Star Wars out there, for example, like Timothy Zahn wrote some amazing Star Wars books. And
don't get us Star Wars fans started on that shit.
But nobody ever made movies based off of his writings, and it's crying shame because some of his books were incredible. But anyway, I won't start into that. But again,
burn in hell, Kathleen Kennedy. I'll just say that much. Burn.
As far as to see this casting, like I said, I have 2 that could kind of a toss up. Like Dave Bautista looks the part, but I also believe that Josh Brolin would be able to play an amazing Marcus Phoenix. If you looked at him as Cable from Deadpool, and some of his other movies, he's got that look and that grit. Like he would be a very and he would bring a big name profile as well. I think Josh would pull it off well. Again, his physical stature, sure, he's not gonna blow it, but he's not like super small. I mean, he's put on muscle for some of his movies and stuff and things like that. There's a couple guys I think for Coltrane. I mean, a lot of guys say the original voice actor could be him, and I agree. Lester Spite is a big dude and obviously did the voice. But doesn't have a lot of clout to come behind him. So a couple obviously ones that you see a lot of names tossed around is Terry Crews as Augustus Cole.
Sir X-Man threw that up.
I could totally see Terry Crews pulling it off. Another guy that most people look over, but I think is amazing. If you listen to his voice, he's got the Coltrane voice, and that is a bona fide action superstar, Michael Jai White, guy who played Spawn.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. He's got that voice when he talks. He sounds like the Coltrane.
He could even look kind of like Coltrane.
Yeah, he's a big, dude. He's not that tall, but he's a big fucking, he's muscled.
I mean, his face, dude.
He
actually looks like Coltrane.
With the goatee and shit. That's what I'm saying, man. He looks like Coltrane.
Oh, yeah.
Or in the
Look
game.
at him in Batman: The Dark Knight. I mean, it's like, holy shit. He could pull it off.
Cliffy B tossed out Ryan Reynolds as Barrett. I thought that was interesting. I could definitely see Ryan Reynolds pulling off Barrett easily, especially in terms of his personality and his humor. Somebody you like and also like to hate. So, but that wouldn't be my first pick. I think like John Cena does come to kind of mind. He's kind of like blonde haired, kind of, he's obviously got a bit of a name pedigree. The Dom is the hardest character because I don't know of a lot of like major Hispanic actors that come to my mind, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I picked Cain Velasquez from the UFC, but someone said he was in prison.
Bro, why you gotta do that to me, man? God damn.
So,
No.
Cain Velasquez would have been one of my first picks. I mean, I know he's a UFC guy, but we've seen how a lot of these WWE guys, UFC guys, have transitioned into acting. Some of them pull it off pretty well. Or if you're going on a more realistic side of things, Michael Pena. Right?
Yeah.
If you're doing Josh Brolin as Marcus, I could see Michael Pena being a great Dom because he's a good actor, and he's obviously Hispanic. Right?
A little bit younger for the role, I think. But I mean, as far as pedigree and acting chops, he could pull that off. Yeah. It's just, I'd age him up a bit.
Yeah, and I think for Anya Stroud, my only logical one would be Charlize Theron because she's a badass and she's sexy.
Oh.
She played Furiosa, and she played who was that other movie where she played like assassin? She was pretty awesome in that too. So Charlize Theron, I think, would make a pretty awesome Anya Stroud.
Well, let me see. Who else is it? I can't think of her name.
I don't know about anybody else. I mean, there's people tossing up for Commander, the old guy Hoffman.
Katie Sackhoff.
J.K. Simmons? Katie Sackhoff, yeah, she would be pretty good one for that. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
As far as Sergeant Kim, the guy that played Bruce Lee in the Bruce Lee story, Jason Scott Lee.
Yeah, Jason Scott Lee.
If you don't believe me, go and watch the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell and him in it. Jason Scott Lee would be an amazing Kim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Donald Trump as General Rom.
There you go. Actually, you could.
It's emergency. That's fake news.
Oh shit. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am. Like I said, I hope they get it right. I have a feeling the animated series will probably end up being better per se, just because again, when it's animated, it's kind of hard to screw up because you basically make the character look exactly like the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, wait, but they may not. They may make the characters look like from the movies.
That's true. Yeah.
Because a lot of times that will happen once a movie is made. They transition how the characters look.
That's another fantastic one from Vic the Click. I totally forgot about him too, and that was a guy that was on my mind a couple of years back. Was Dominic Purcell? Yeah, from Prison Break. He's been in a few movies.
He'd do a great job.
I actually saw somebody did a mock-up of him one time. They actually put the suit on him in his head, and I was like, damn, he fucking looks like Marcus Phoenix. This shit's cool. Absolutely good pick, Vic the Click. He drops $2 on that super chat. Thank you very much for that, bro.
He can maybe pull off Dom too.
Yeah, actually, yeah. When you think about it, yeah. If they go with
Batista.
Batista, yeah. Dominic Purcell is Dom. But I think most people want to see like an actual, real Hispanic actor in the role.
Oh yeah.
Who was that guy from Better Call Saul? The Hispanic guy who escaped and I forgot his name. The character's name in Better Call Saul. The Hispanic guy, not Esposito, the really young Hispanic guy for Dom. Do y'all know? Have y'all seen Better Call Saul?
I think I know the guy. I think I know exactly who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
I forgot the character. It starts with a T. Something. I forgot what his name was.
Well, let's please not say Danny Trejo.
No, definitely not.
Danny Trejo. And all of us, that was just like in orbit around our heads, thinking, well,
Wouldn't that be funny, Danny Trejo? Oh my god, because he's been like fucking everything.
Oh god. Have you seen the TV show, the remake of The Lincoln Lawyer that's on Netflix?
The Lincoln Lawyer?
No, I've only watched the original movie. I haven't. And I wasn't interested enough to go to the TV.
Are you talking about the bad guy called Tuco?
Yes, Tuco.
Oh, Tuco's from fucking.
He was in Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. He was like one of the main villains.
Yeah.
Not Tuco. The other guy who was his wingman in the. Shoot. Not
Michael
Tuco.
Mando or whatever.
No, it was something I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's the Hispanic guy from Better Call Saul. So yeah,
Gotcha.
He played a really good role. Mm-hmm. So
well, there's the new. I was going to say the new Lincoln Lawyer. The main character in it is Manuel Garcia Rulfo, and he's incredible in that show. If you'd seen the remake of The Magnificent Seven, he was the Hispanic guy in that. He's amazing.
Here's a good one we never thought. How about Benicio del Toro?
Yeah.
It's possible. He's a little quirky. But he can pull off.
Come on, now, George Lopez.
He can pull off the. Oh Jesus! Yeah, no,
George
Benicio del Toro. I'll pick that. Thanks.
Michael Mando, the guy who played Nacho. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be a good Dom, I think. So, yeah.
We get Jack Black and have him play it.
Antonio Banderas.
Hey, Jack Black is busy being claptrap in the
That was Bowser.
Yeah, I was gonna say you mean Bowser. Jesus.
Right.
Bowser. That's right.
Yeah,
No, wasn't he? Who was somebody
All
got
right.
voice for claptrap too? I thought it
my
was him.
God.
Okay, guys, I vote for Luis Guzman.
Yeah.
Luis?
No, Luis. I like it.
Hey, let's go, Marquez. Oh shit. Oh man. Anyway. Any further thoughts, guys? George Foreman is cool. Where are my heart pills? Where's my burger maker?
You gotta get my grill.
Who plays Baird? Yes, there's a few guys I think for Baird. Like I said, the John Cena is one that comes to mind. I've heard his name tossed around, but I mean, one guy that would have been probably a good Baird too is if he was still alive would have been Paul Walker.
Yeah.
He probably would have pulled it off too because he had that kind of quirky funniness to him too, right? But he's no longer here. Yeah, that sucks.
Oh.
They'll probably cast Vin Diesel as fucking Dom or Marcus.
Marcus Phoenix. He'll be Dom again. He's always Dom in every movie.
Yeah.
Well, that way he's used to respond to that
Dom.
name. He's used to respond to that name, so it makes it a lot easier to flip over.
You killed me a familia.
It's about family. It's about family.
Dom could be played by the guy from The Mandalorian. You're talking about Pedro Pascal?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Well, he seems to be in everything nowadays, so you never know.
Yeah.
Dolph
Overused
Lundgren,
him.
there you go. Dolph Lundgren might make a pretty cool fucking Hoffman. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren in his younger years for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth or Liam Hemsworth? Chris Hemsworth is Baird. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. He was pretty good.
Liam's looking for work, so I mean,
Liam's got work.
Liam finally got work for the
He's
winter.
the new Witcher now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris might be a little bit. Well, no, he'd fit pretty well there. That would be weird though. It's like wait, we got.
Alrighty, well anyway, it is coming out, guys. It's pretty exciting stuff. Let's get ready to close the show, but before we go, just a couple of quick questions. What you know who? We got Cletus Dunmore on standby, as well as Safe House Sam. You guys have any questions for Safe House or Cletus? Now's to try to drop them in the chat before we lose all of our viewers to God of War. Because they've literally dropped off by half in the last 10 minutes.
Days is a going.
I think the panel's going to be dropped off by half in a few minutes.
Probably. Everybody's like, yeah, it's out. Gotta go.
Yeah.
For all you digital fuckers.
Well, it's officially in my city, so I tracked it from UPS. So it's officially in the distribution center in my city. So
nice. Oh well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
There, Oscar Isaac from Moon Knight. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, he would probably work. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's a little small. Anyway.
See, that's the worst thing. If you get one giant actor and then the rest of them are already tiny, it's going to look really funny, right?
Hey, safe house. When you're outside, do you prefer to shit in paper or plastic?
I'll tell you what. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, maybe Save Us Sam is in the room. Yeah, maybe it's about fucking time you guys are dragging your shit on all fucking night. I don't know. I've never seen a show go off the fucking rails as much as this one. The goddamn train is derailed. It is hit the walls. But anyway, great conversations all the same. And if I go outside, I prefer, what'd you say, shit in plastic or shit in paper?
Correct.
Oh, no, man, you gotta shit in fucking plastic at least. Shit in the plastic. Right? Because it's reusable. And I'm all about recycling, even if it is fucking shit. But if you shit in the fucking paper, well, I guess you can recycle that too. But the problem is, a lot of times you're shitting on the paper, you get fucking shit on your fingers. And if you ain't got a clean wipe, you ain't got no sanitary napkin around, and then all of a sudden you got fucking shitty fingers. And there ain't nothing that's fucking worse than you fucking going around your day and you can smell fucking ass on your fucking fingers. It fucking sucks. It's what that do. And then you go to eat something with your hands. You have it like potato chips. And then you're like, goddamn, potato chips smell like shit. What the fuck? So no, you got to do it with the plastic, baby.
But it does make it more fun when you play pull by finger with your grandkids. You know?
Good to know.
Yeah, come boom my finger. Hey, why is your finger kind of brown? You smoking cigarettes? No, I ain't smoking cigarettes, but I guarantee you I'm a fucking inch deep in my asshole every time I gotta dig a peanut. Let's go.
Wonderful.
So for Safe House, it's not one in the stink, two in the pink. It's all three in the stink, huh?
3.
It's all about
That's all it's got
fucking
left.
I wouldn't want to put my dirty ass shit fingers up in the pink if I've already been 3 fingers deep in the stink. You know what I'm saying? You know, I want to flick it and lick it. I don't want to fucking pick it and get sick of it. You know what I'm saying? God damn. There's some nasty shit going on around here. Wize Old Gamer, I'll leave it up to you. You're probably fucking licking your fingers all the time.
He's licking right now.
Have to change his name to Pink Eye Sam. Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now, Wize Old Gamer, fucking shit don't taste like curry.
It's not curry, it's tikka masala.
Tikka ma what? Whatever the fuck, man. You bunch of
He wants you to tickle his sola. I don't know what that's all about. But...
Tikka masala.
All right, we got any other questions here?
I don't know if we
Cletus
have
or
the
Save
energy
Us?
for it. Holy shit.
Anything for Cletus?
Well,
No,
it sounds like nobody got no questions for me, so I'm just going to say, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You're supposed to come prepared. You know, that's what my mama always said. You come prepared. That's right. That you never go into a bedroom without at least a half a dozen socks. You know what I mean? Because you never know when you're going to get lucky at least a half a dozen times.
Well, you can use the Safe House Sam's plastic bags after he recycles them. So they...
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I bet they buy some sticky under Dickie. Huh? A couple of them,
looks like somebody-
couple of them grocery bags. Yep, they'd be cracking and snapping. Let me tell you.
Somebody got a question for Safe
We
House.
do. It comes in versus Victor Click. He's got a $5 super chat.
Hey, Safe House, do you pay for the happy ending or do they pay you?
Well, let me tell you, baby. They paying me for the happy endings because everybody's happy when they downstairs on old Safe House Sam. Let me tell you, when they go below, they in the know, baby. Yeah,
Okay.
they gotta handle the snake
It's
before
not.
they
It's
handle
not.
the rake.
It's not because they're happy. It's because there's a difference between being happy and going.
No.
We'll give you $5 to leave. We'll give you.
I was about to say
Yeah.
they're usually paying me money just to fucking put that shit in my pants and get the fuck out of there. They
Yeah,
say, you know what?
there it is, yeah.
They say shut your fucking pie hole because honestly you ruin any type of ecstasy or exotic entertainment that we had playing. Like you cannot have any kind of visual stimulation when you start talking Safe House because your fucking voice it's like fucking nails in a fucking washing machine. You know what I mean? It's just cutting right through you over here. No, they just pay me to get out. They patronize me.
Yeah,
That's what they do. They
that's
just give me money, get me the fuck out of there. I don't blame them. But hey, that's their loss. Cause I've been straining this snake over here. Come get some of my venom.
Ew.
Hey, Cletus, now that Thanksgiving's coming up, is your family coming together?
Oh, we coming somewhere.
Oh,
Well, that's me. I'm coming somewhere. I don't know about Cletus.
Hey, fiddly diddly. Yeah, we always should join in, hold hands at the dinner table, and we comes together. All sorts of comes together. It's real good on here. I mean, you know what they say: the family that plays together stays together. You know,
That's
honestly,
not Thanksgiving dinner. That's a circle jerk. That's a
how
different-
can you say that you're close to your family if you never fingered your sister's pussy? You know what I'm saying?
that's a
Wow.
special
I mean,
kind of
that's-
gravy right there.
That's the kind of shit that we get on with down in my place. You know what I'm saying?
My God.
I don't know what you all be doing where you comes from, but I know what I likes to be doing. And like I said, you know, the best thing, if you're gonna get an STD, the best place to get it is from somebody you know.
Oh,
Why do you want to get it from a complete stranger? I'd rather get genital words from my old mama. But then, mind you, I usually get them from my pigs first, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Alrighty, I think we basically closed the show once again. Alrighty, we got one coming in from Splendiferous before we go here.
Hey, Safels, what do you like more, the smell of ass or the taste of ass?
That's a great fucking question, Flame Difference. About time you dropped something sensible in here. Let me tell you this. I like the smell of ass better than the taste of ass, okay? Simply put, because the smell of ass, it goes away quicker. But the taste of ass, fuck, that shit sticks to your tongue sometimes. You know, and then you got little hairs and peanuts and leftover parts up in there. I don't like the taste of shit, but I can smell it. You know? I can tell I at least can tell where you been, what you been eating when you been fucking, queefing around my face, you know what I'm saying? You been, you know, all that good stuff. You been fighting, you know, all that shit. I ain't a bunch of cock asses. Yeah, I don't like the smell. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's almost addictive. You know what I'm fucking saying? Don't all you guys look at condemning me. I know how much of you guys sometimes you be scratching your ass at night and you be putting the fingers up to your nose, and when nobody looking, you're just kind of like, yeah, that was a good dinner I had last night.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Uh,
Chat, shut the fuck
Apparently-
up and stop now, please.
apparently Safe House is looking for those corn leftovers, but you know.
Go enjoy your goddamn Ragnarok already. Jesus. People.
You know what? That's the funny thing. Is when the corn comes out of your shit, it still kind of tastes mostly the same, but it definitely don't smell the same anymore. You know what I mean? It ain't like buttered corn on the cob at that point.
Hey, Safe House. Whose bush do you prefer? Big and thick like Dark's Praxis, or nice and trim like Cerebral Paul's?
What in the God's name are you nasty? That guy fucking question, they're fucking nasty. But simply when it comes to bush, man, I like a good bush, to be quite honest with you. I don't mind a good bush every once in a while. You know, it makes you work for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a little game of hide and seek. You gotta mess around in there a little bit, and then you find that sweet spot. It's like, yep, we got dry trees at the top, and I think the bushes just went down into the swamp at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I think we found some lily pads and a couple of frogs in here. Anyways, it starts to get wet. You ready to go, baby? That's what it is. When it's wet, place your bet. Let's go.
Alrighty. Well, that's enough of that, guys. We've had all the questions. We are running well over time tonight. It's another fantastic episode. Once again, shout out and thanks to our guest, Salty's Gaming, who I hopefully is installing and enjoying God of War here momentarily, as to everyone on the panel. Hope you guys get to experience or play it eventually, and can't wait to come back and find out how you feel about it. All that good stuff. But that is it for us for tonight. We'll let everybody get out of here. We will start with Mr. Derp Practice. Where can people catch up with you on your next podcast or what have you, my friend?
Well, it seems they could find me here, but if anybody's looking for me, my
Your P.O. box is?
Yeah. 18. No. It's no. The best place to find me is actually Twitter. That's at Praxis Darth, because I'm an idiot. Thank you. And if you want to catch me, I'm here every Tuesday. So far, so good. Yeah, until you kick me off. Son of a bitch.
All right, guys. Let's get down to Cerebral Paul. Let people know what's happening with you next, sir. You've always got a ton of stuff on the go.
So you can find me at Twitter with Elon Musk. Okay. Oh, wait, no.
He's going to have his own fragrance. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm probably going to get banned just for saying it, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. You can find me at Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul. I'm mostly, and I do have a YouTube channel, but most of my focus is now going to be Twitch. After the charity thing I did, I picked up quite a few viewers, even picked up a couple of subs and stuff. I figured,
nice.
So Twitch is where I need to focus. So I'll be there. Mondays, of course, you can find me on Xbox Ambassador channel. Tuesdays, you can find me on Retro Renegades, and then here, and then on Thursdays for GQ TV. I'm gonna try to stream a little bit every day. I don't know. I don't have a set schedule yet. I got to work on that, but so just keep an eye on my Twitter feed to see when I go live, or just follow me on Twitch and it will tell you when I go live, or just do what Darth Praxis does and just watch the camera feeds that he has in my house. It's really weird. It's just all of a sudden I hear, "Are you going live yet? Come on, wake up! Come on, Come on, gotta go."
Pinch that off already, Paul. Come on, you're getting late. Go.
I'm always late. Yeah. So anyway, the only time I wasn't late was when I was born 6 weeks early, but that's a different story. So yeah, just follow me there, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was a fun time.
I thought your problem was that you came too early.
6 weeks too early. Yes, that was part of the problem. Yeah.
Wow.
And Wize Old Gamer, where can people catch up with you next, my friend?
You can find me in the same retirement home that Cerebral Paul is in. So, no, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter, Wize Old Gamer with a C, Friday nights on Doomsayers Network, Order of Disorder podcast at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. And, of course, on this beloved podcast with these jackasses. So,
remember, the Wize Old Gamer, the only man who has to drop his pants to count to 11. So
10.5.
Correct. Quite correct.
Oh, look, I was adding. Now I got to divide. Yes, a great podcast, great panel, and amazing chat. One of the best in the business. You guys are fantastic. Like I said, thank you so much for the love and support each and every week. A lot of you guys stick right through the entire show. It's amazing, and the feedback is always great. You know, we've always said we'd rather have a small crew than a big crew that's just always bickering and fighting. And our mods have a very easy job on this podcast, and that's fantastic. But anyway, guys, you are amazing. Thank you for the support. We'll be back again. Actually, I'm just double checking here, guys. I'm not going to be here next. There is no Gaming After Dark next Tuesday night because I'm going to be in Niagara Falls, Canada, for a work meeting. So there'll be no GAD next week. I may just check in and say hi to everybody, but no podcast and no Meg coming out for this visit. So it's unfortunate, but unfortunately he's busy this time around. So I'll just be there by my lonesome, hanging out and all that good stuff. But so no, and same thing goes for Good Morning Xbox this coming Sunday. I'll be on a plane, so there'll be no Good Morning Xbox on Sunday and no GAD next Tuesday. So you got a week off from all of us ass wipes, and we'll be back better than ever after that.
So after Noof is in, watch out for the international incident that's going to cause everybody in America to worry about the northern border instead of the southern border.
Yeah, can you imagine Safe as Sam is Sam's going to be next to that big waterfall?
Yeah.
He might contaminate it.
Yeah.
Probably washing his ass at the bottom of Niagara Falls.
He'll be, yeah.
That looks wet.
That looks wet. Yeah, is it wet enough for you, Sam? All right, that's one way to get them wet. Yeah, but anyway, we'll see you in a couple weeks, guys. But anyway, thanks so much. Go enjoy God of War. Take care, everybody. Have fun. Have a good night.
Play Sonic too.
Bye.
Sonic.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.